Hello, everybody, and welcome. Let me turn off this music. Welcome back to the Pylon Show.
Yeah, Pylon Show, live and offline.
Okay, start over. Welcome back to In Depth.
Wow.
We were literally just looking at the launcher because I'm about to launch StarCraft 2, so we can watch some sick replays.
Yep.
Here, let me move over so you can join me here. Okay, so here we are. This is exciting.
It is. I'm ready. This is the episode that should have been last week, but
Yeah, it's.
we don't talk about last week.
We don't
right,
talk
guys?
about last week. That is lost to time.
I've seen
that
so
one.
many memes about me being scared of 4600 MMRs now.
Well, I mean,
I am actually, though.
they showed you who's boss, that's for sure.
I got at least a win, though.
Yeah. Now, I think our game sound is actually a little bit high for this.
Maybe a little bit?
Yeah, let me turn that down. We have a slightly different mic setup this time, so... Is that good?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
I think it needs to go down a little bit more.
Let's see what chat thinks.
Okay. So, let's talk about what we're about to talk about.
We're about to talk about Maru versus Classic.
Yes. The GSL Codex Finals, we have procured the replays. It's awesome. A lot of people have been asking us to go over these games. I think one of the ones that people really were interested in was that Tempest All-In from Classic. So definitely we'll be going over that as well. I think we're just going to go through all of them and just kind of talk about them because...
Let's do it.
I mean, it's how many GSLs in a row was this from Maru? I can't even keep track anymore.
4th.
It's like more than I have fingers.
Do you think they're going to make a G5L trophy this one?
There already exists one.
You think they're going to bring that one back?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I heard they couldn't find it.
That's too funny.
Maybe they have
If
to
they
remake
can't
one.
find it, you know Tasteless stole it. It's like 100%.
And Tasteless' claws. He's like, oh, guys, I found the trophy.
God. Nah, he wouldn't ever give that to Maru. Okay.
Okay. I'm ready.
I am too.
I'm excited that we actually have some games today.
Oh, God.
We don't
Well,
have to
these
play
are...
our
You
ladder?
can't get higher quality replays than these in the entire game.
It's true. We had to do a lot to get these.
Yeah, we had to
Do
bribe
some things.
bribe some officials.
The Korean government was in. They're like, all right, wait. This is
I still think that's a little bit too loud.
Is it?
Yeah.
It could be just...
Let me turn the music down a little bit. Let me turn that down.
Is it too loud for you guys, too? Or is it just for us? Okay, I think that's
Okay.
fine.
Let's do it. Let's get into this. This is Maru vs. Classic, game number 1 from the GSL Codex Finals.
In the top left-hand corner. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. We're definitely not going to cast the game.
All right.
And we're going to pause it a whole bunch.
Yes, we
because
are.
that's what we do here on In Depth.
All right, so we already got something quite interesting. He does build a pylon home. This is almost immediately, like, obviously it's a proxy gate. This probe is too fast to be anything else. So if you're a Terran player and you see a probe this fast, you should start freaking out because that's a pylon.
Yeah, yeah. So there's actually, it went to 6 games. I mean, if you're getting spoiled right now, why are you watching In Depth for GSL Finals?
Do not watch
What's
In
wrong
Depth
with you?
if you haven't watched the finals yet.
But yeah, this goes to 6 games, right? And 3 of the 6 games are proxy gate from Classic.
Yeah.
So that is a lot of games where he is proxying a gateway.
It makes some sense if you think of who Maru is and how he plays a TVP in general. If you want to be the one to dictate the game, you kind of need to do it early on. Because he's also not afraid to do proxies, and he's also not afraid to do things that are extremely aggressive. These builds aren't necessarily all in. They should do damage, but they don't necessarily mean the end of the game. I think a lot of these games do go and play out, but with Classic being behind a little bit. But it could go the other way.
Yeah, now, I want to talk about this SCV scout that comes in, okay? Because this is actually why Maru wins game 1, which is the most important game to win in a series, right? Okay, so notice how he scouts with the SCV, and he realizes, okay, something's going on. Yeah. There's something on the map. You don't always scout with an SCV in this matchup.
Certainly not. I almost never do.
Yeah, a lot of people don't, but I want to talk about how everyone should. Because...
I'm ready.
Okay, listen. You guys watching this show right now, you're not losing games because because you keep the SCV at home, or rather, because you would scout with the SCV. That amount of money that the amount of money that you're losing by scouting with the SCV, yes, it's real. Right. But unless you are a top-tier pro gamer, that's actually not what the difference is for you.
Right.
Okay, so why is Maru doing this? Because he knows just how dangerous this can be. at the top level, and really it can be dangerous at any level. That bunker right there that's going down is literally why Maru wins game 1 against the best PvT player in the world.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to see this too. Like when you go in, you see there's no pylon here. You know exactly what it is. It's not going to be a Stargate. It's one gas. It's certainly it's going to be a gateway. There's literally nothing else it can be. So I think unless it's like a robo or something.
Yeah, I think it could be a robo. It's possible.
Only
thing is, if they're on one gate, there's like no reason not to have the
yeah.
Like
even a robo too.
The bunker doesn't even.
If this gas was faster, it might be a little bit more suspicious. But like this gas is just not fast enough. I'm pretty sure the SCV can stay and see warp gate being started as well.
Yeah, it certainly can. But I mean, you could afford a robo off one gas too doing this, right? So
well,
it's something. It's something aggressive. He's not expanding. You can make the bunker.
Yeah.
It's a smart play, and amateur players should do it.
I agree.
Just scout more as an
amateur player. I think
this
is because Maru's extremely confident in the mid to late game defensively. Like he sits in a pretty defensive posture a lot these days. He either goes for the throat, or he lets you go for the throat, and then you lose.
Yeah.
Like you'll watch him sit there, and he'll just wait and wait and wait for you to attack, and then he'll pounce immediately after. But yeah, so SCV scouting, if you're going to play a passive game, it's not a bad choice, right? You just kind of want to survive. This Stalker does absolutely nothing. If there was no bunker here, this is the most annoying thing on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
A Stalker.
Well, one Stalker kills infinity.
Marines.
Yes. Yeah, it's like so many. We'll see in game number 2 because there is no bunker when he does this build.
Maru too. He just goes for the reactor immediately. Like you can't do this if you go for the without the bunker, because obviously if you're building a reactor, you aren't building Marines, so you're just kind of losing. I don't know what else to say, but getting your add-ons up early on is really nice for the Terran player. I don't know if he adds. Yeah, he does. See, look at that. Look at these add-ons. They're just coming down left and right.
It's so perfectly done. I love how far back in his base the factory is as well.
Right.
So oftentimes we see everything on the edge of the base, and then things like blink harassment and warp prisms and stuff become even more scary. Here, what's on the left-hand side of the base? Just the wall in. Right. Nothing else. Why would he have other things over there? That would be stupid. I know you do that in your regular game so everything fits better, but when you're being proxied, change everything.
Right. One thing I want to give Classic credit to, this is about the most perfect response you can have to a completely failed Stalker like Harass that did absolutely nothing. Like, he just probes up, he gets his blink, he's just playing like pretending almost like that gateway's at home, right?
Yeah.
And he's adding on these Stalkers, so he's clearly going to go for a big Stalker pressure. Like, this is at least, what is it, 4 Stalkers? 3. 3 Stalkers and, yeah, blink on the way.
Well, he certainly gets a lot more because he just go for the 3 gates right away.
Yeah.
I don't know if this follow-up was perfect. I know it wasn't perfectly executed, as we're going to see in a second here.
Yeah, but so far I like it. He even has the gateway for the aggression.
Right? Well, you've already put on some pressure, and Maru's already playing in a somewhat defensive stance, so I think that the blink is obviously awesome here.
So remember when I was talking about add-ons? If Maru doesn't get these add-ons really early on, he's very likely to just die to something like this. But because he has his add-ons so early on, he can build a Raven, he can build siege tanks, he can build all these Marines. Pretty much everything here is because of the add-ons, which he wouldn't even be able to do if he didn't have this bunker.
Yeah.
So Artosis is right when he says literally the game would have been over if this bunker didn't exist.
Yeah.
Because it just forces you to not be
so
ready
true.
for this kind of timing, right?
And you see that his blink attack there did basically nothing.
Right.
That was super, super weak what happened.
Yeah.
Like that blinking, he got like a depot.
I remember watching this and just being like, well, the game's just over. Like
the first blinking nailed a tank like we saw while you were talking there, and that was good.
Right.
But then everything else is like see, that first volley was terrible. When he blinked to the right and hit that first volley on the bunker, it's like, okay, we aren't getting good volleys here at all.
This was pretty okay. I don't know about this one blink in. What was that blink in for, a tank? Or
it was a Cyclone.
Okay, yeah, blinking in for the Cyclone is really bad. If he had just blinked out, it would have been much, much better.
Yeah. Overall, that was a very poor trade there for Classic.
We see the Nexus running down immediately. What do we got? 43 probes to 45. This game is basically over.
He's playing on a wish now, and he knows it. This is something I really appreciated about Classic's play overall in the series, is that when stuff went terribly wrong, he took massive risks to try to win. Like, things went wrong here, so he went for a big blink play, right?
Yep.
The blink play isn't working. What does he do? He's like, well, it's time for a third Nexus.
Well, I mean, also, it's just there's tons of synergy throughout, right? Like, if this was a Hearthstone deck, it'd be perfect, you know? Like, there's just perfect synergy.
Yeah.
Like, he goes for the Stalker Harass. It doesn't work out. He uses this gateway to be aggressive with blink from all the stalkers from before, it obviously also doesn't work out. But if this was any lesser player, this could have been like pushing Maru down the stairs and just kept going and going and going and never stopping. Yeah. But Maru is just so good. Like, even remember the double tech lab is still being used.
Yeah.
Like, stim and combat
and
shields
look how far away they are. How nothing gets harassed. He's blinking up in here, guys, okay? And what is he getting done? He's blinking into this empty area that Maru doesn't have to stand in to defend. There's no add-ons to defend. There's no buildings that he's picking off and dealing damage to, which are also stifling movement of bio against the Stalkers. The amount of importance of these early game things, like the bunker to get the add-ons, like moving everything to the right side of space instead of the left side that we would normally see it on. These are all massive for defending this.
Funny thing is, this game, if Maru spawned here, it could have been a different game still. Like, so far he's been really good at defending, and I don't think he would lose these tech labs. But it's just funny how different these tech labs over here would be.
Oh, yeah. It is very true. Like, you might commit more heavily to trying to kill those off otherwise.
So right now we see a pretty big lead for Maru. He hasn't taken a third base. He doesn't even have to, really. It's so far, he hasn't really been able to slow Maru down at all in any way whatsoever. Maru has literally just been, like, swatting a fly. Like, he has not cared whatsoever. He's getting his upgrade or his add-ons. He's got all of his army. He's got a Raven. He's got siege tanks. Like,
well, this is the most confident push I've ever seen in my whole life because, like, he's making his third command behind this and everything. Nothing's actually gone wrong at all for Maru this game. And the thing is, specifically on this map, this third base, when they get into a spot like this, there's not a whole hell of a lot that you can do. Oh, that's even hilarious.
Why did you disable the sentry?
Why not?
I just don't know. It didn't have any energy, did it?
Yeah, I don't think it did.
Okay. Well, at this point, the game is already over. Even in a hypothetical where Classic just swats this army down, Maru's taking his third behind this. The only thing he doesn't have actually is oh no, he has upgrade. Is this his second?
No,
upgrade?
he's doing everything the whole world.
Oh, he is 1-1.
Well, he's definitely not getting armor first. We know that.
Okay, so yeah, he's actually fine. He could build a second engineering bay and armory. Takes his third base. Assuming this trades out for like even army, like if they both just trade here, he's way ahead.
Yeah.
And if it goes very poorly, they're pretty even. So, and this just obviously just kills Classic, but.
Well, you know, all of this comes down to the first really correct decision that we saw from Maru, which is scouting with an SCV.
Yeah.
I'm not overstating it at all, actually.
No,
the fact
I
that
agree.
he scouted with that SCV is why he made that bunker. He would never made that blind.
Right.
And then suddenly there's stalkers in his base while he's trying to make an add-on, and everything falls apart.
Yeah, even more than that, he just can't build the add-ons. Because that would mean no production.
Yeah.
Like, if he builds a reactor in here, he has no Marines, loses the first Marine, game is over. Factory's on the way. It's not close to being finished. Literally, the game is over, guys. Like, he is forced not to build these add-ons, so he's in a worse spot for the blink all, and that hits him, you know, what is it, like 2 minutes later, 3 minutes later?
Yeah.
And then he just dies to this blink push in here. There's just nothing.
Yeah.
So pretty much everything would have gone wrong if he didn't SCV scout.
Yeah.
And for the 90 minerals that it was worth, 90 minerals a minute, I believe, is the amount you lose. Something like that. It might have.
No.
This might be the old.
No, it's not 90 a minute. It's like.
It might be the old version. I don't remember.
I can't remember the exact amount, but the thing
it
is,
might be a Blizzard minute, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay. Well, regardless of what it is, trying to even put that into words, there's like this actual fallacy in the human mind where when you hear things like 78% of the human body's water, you think you understand that, and you actually don't. Okay, like things like percentages, humans don't understand very well, and it's like a trick that's used utilizing statistics,
Right.
to get people to think the way you want them to think is by being like, well, that's
this is
depot every minute, and it's like, no, you don't actually understand what
You know,
this
like
number
buy
means.
one get one free, and like the gambling industry.
It's
and all
why
this
everything's
stuff.
99 cents,
Yeah.
right? It's like $3.99. It's like, no, that's $4, folks.
Yep.
Okay. But yeah, listen, whatever minerals it is per minute. Oh my God, that was way too loud. I'm sorry. Let me fix that.
What was that? Was that a sub?
Yeah, I meant to mute that.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. But anyways, guys, the thing is, if you don't like playing against Protoss as a Terran player and stuff, it's worthwhile to send an SCV scout out there,
It
okay?
definitely is.
You're going to see what's going on. You can just send it home.
Yeah,
That's okay. You're going to feel a lot more confident when you see him doing that. Otherwise, if you're not SCV scouting, you're losing to builds like this, that's your fault. Because you're not losing games because you're losing those minerals. I promise you, you're not good enough.
With game number one, like, the momentum shift in a tournament like this would be insane. Classic winning game number 1 just gives him so much more footing to do even crazier stuff next game, and the game after, and the game after that. The more up you are, the more it kind of lends you to be able to be crazy because you're not on the ropes, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, it's interesting, too, because I keep talking about how the SCV Scout, like, you're not going to lose because of that. But at the same time, there's this counter idea, right? You have to play on the very edge of safety to be as best you can.
Right.
And we'll definitely see that in a moment here in game number 2. Because you do need to play on the edge of safety. You shouldn't necessarily, especially in a tournament, always SCV Scout. Because if you do every game and your opponent catches on to that, then they actually abuse that.
Right.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, SCV Scouts, even if you're playing a standard Protoss, can be really annoying because a lot of Protosses like to go gate Nexus. I believe the SCV would block the Nexus, could be really annoying, depending on when you send it. Like, there's just so much you can.
Well, if you want to block
still.
a Nexus, I feel like you got to send it on an alternate scout path because otherwise they just send a probe down and you can't like eBay very well.
Oh, you don't need to eBay. You just be like a Protoss and just fucking.
Oh yeah,
running
but
around in circles just like all
that
the
doesn't
other
take that long to
yeah,
get rid of
but
that.
the point is,
yeah,
Protosses are having it done to them. Okay, so this map, I remember telling Dan before it happened that if I was Maru, I would proxy Rex on this map.
Yes,
because
that's right.
It is almost 100% that Classic is going to wall here.
Yes.
The reason why is there's no jump spots. You're going to deny scouting completely from Maru. It makes sense safety-wise. It makes sense against literally everything. It makes sense against Hellion Drop. It makes sense against anything.
Does it make sense against Proxy Gate?
Proxy Racks, it does not. But I was actually talking to SOS, and I was like, why doesn't Maru just do it? And he's like, well, Maru could do it, but he said the win rate is not worth potential here of losing. Right? I don't know what he I don't know if what he meant exactly, but he basically said that Maru said it's like a 60% win chance, and he said it's probably better for him to just play a normal game.
Okay, so he viewed himself at over 60% to beat Classic straight up.
Yeah, I guess that's what it means.
Well,
so
that's some confidence. Damn.
That's what SOS told me.
Well, I believe it to be true. Yeah. SOS could tell me the sky is brown. I'd be like, you're right.
So that's an interesting thing because it makes sense to me before. Like before I talked to SOS, I'm like, I just proxy racks him, but I guess Maru is actually just more confident in a standard game than even that.
But yeah, you called it very well. This is a full wall, so you literally can't scout against it. And that actually makes this game really interesting what happens here, because he's going to full wall here and do a proxy gate at the same time. And Maru will SCV scout again.
So here's another thing to think about.
Yeah?
You don't need to pause.
Wait, we need to pause or no?
No, we don't need to.
Oh, okay.
You can't scout how many pylons there are if the wall is completed. So if you're Maru, you should blindly play safe. You should blindly build that bunker that you built the first game. I don't know if he does or doesn't, but you kind of should, because there's no 100% way of telling.
I want to see the vision when the SCV gets there, because I'm not 100% on this. So hold on. One. Okay, hold on.
Especially if you're getting the command center.
Okay, so he knows it's walled right now.
Command center upgrade complete.
He actually looks for the proxy.
Hold on. That's close enough to see the Nexus, right? You would see the
You
corner.
should be able to see it.
Okay. So he knows it's not a Nexus. He knows it's
Gate
something.
Cyber. So
I'm pretty sure he knows. That I'm
Oh, yeah,
almost certain that would reveal the Nexus.
You watch. I believe Maru sends an SCV looking for it and misses it.
Yes, he does send a SCV out.
Maru's camera, because I'm curious if he just immediately sends it or not.
Oh,
Yeah,
the Reaper
the
goes
Reaper.
down really
So
close to it.
He immediately knows this is coming, right? He sends the Reaper down looking for the proxy. Look at him.
Yeah.
The funny
And
thing
he gets
is,
really
literally
close.
every single Terran and their mother misses the proxy by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is with GSL, but they just miss them. Like every time. I think he comes around and then scouts it. I can't remember.
The Stalker actually gets to his base before he scouts it. I'm pretty sure. See, there goes the Stalker. Here comes the Reaper.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay, so
there's
it's
no
pretty
bunker
similar.
here, right? So he should have built the bunker, but he didn't.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, in retrospect, 100% he should have built the bunker, but
Oh, actually, one more thing.
what?
Maru didn't build a Marine after the racks.
Yeah.
So he built a reactor immediately.
Well, he's not entirely sure of what's happening at that wall, right?
Right.
So in the previous game, he got in, he saw the second gas, he saw the timing of the second gas and like the mineral count, all this stuff, and made the bunker. This game, he sees just a wall and doesn't make the bunker.
My original point is, do you think he skipped the bunker because the reactor is going to finish before? Like, he doesn't have anything to put in the bunkers right now, even if it was finished. Like, there's a bunker completed right now. There's literally nothing but the Reaper that can go in it.
But did he start... Well, I think that's still okay, but did he start this before he got to the wall?
We should check. Because if he did... I feel like there's a bit of a complex thing, because he should know that this is coming. He didn't build the bunker. He built the reactor before. The last game, he built a Marine first, before the reactor.
Yes, but this has to do with scout timing, too. So let's see. Okay, the Reaper's almost done, the Reaper's almost done, the Reaper's almost done.
He just builds a reactor immediately.
Yeah, he builds the reactor immediately. So he actually sees that it is Cybercore before Nexus. So this was a conscious decision by Maru
to
go for the reactor before the Marine.
Yeah.
But he didn't get the full scout, right? So in Maru's mind right now, I feel like looking at this, like maybe he thinks it's a Stargate or something.
It's possible.
And also just the fact that Classic did this build twice in a row with this as the second map, I think is the trickiest thing I think that's actually a very good mind game.
Yeah, because he may think, why would Classic do it twice, especially after it got destroyed the first time? The reactor is way safer, reactor first. It's way safer against anything that isn't this.
Yes.
Like, the reactor first allows you to get at least like 6 to 8 Marines probably before, maybe not a proxy Stargate, you'd have 4, but that's more than enough to buy time. So yeah, this is an interesting situation for Maru. Yeah, the reactor goes down immediately. It kind of works out for him, I guess, because he actually does it. I feel like so far
he's screwed.
Yeah, so far,
and we're gonna see that. So, what were you saying so far?
So far, this feels like it's perfect for Classic.
Yeah.
Everything that he wants to happen has happened. He's killed this SCV. There's no bunker down here, so there's no way of Maru to really save this. If he rallies Marines down, they die. So he needs to at least build up 4 before he can push down. He's basically bought enough time to deny this for a very long time.
Well, here is the hilariousness of these two games. Because the first game, he makes the bunker, shuts it down unfathomably hard, right? It's over before it starts. Here, he didn't make the bunker, right? Which, yeah, it gave him the quicker reactor. He literally dies to this.
I thought he should have built the bunker too.
Well, if
he had built a bunker as soon as he saw the wall, I think it finishes. So.
Yeah, no, he would have had it in time. You're quite right. Like, the SCV scout timing, I believe, was the same as game number 1. So he would have had the bunker up.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, he decided not to do that. It's
very interesting.
I think he may have out-mind gamed himself.
I agree.
Where the thing is, if I'm Maru after game 1, I'd look at this and say, this is a Stargate.
Yeah. Why not?
That would be my gut feeling,
right? Because you can't come up here and see the gas timings.
You can't.
Like the last game, you were able to see the gas timings. You were able to tell, okay, there's no way this is a Stargate. Could be a Robo. No way it's a Stargate. Immediately throws the bunker down. This game, not necessarily sure. Also, if you build a bunker, maybe delays your Marines. Like you could die to a Stargate if you build a bunker down here. But I think it's safer to play that game than to, obviously in hindsight too. I'm not Maru.
Yeah.
I think he was just playing on a bit of a gamble and just assuming, hey, there's
took
no
a
way
risk here.
Classic does the same thing twice.
Well, it's one of those situations where, I mean, you're kind of betting on your opponent being more varied. I bet you if you asked him before, how many proxy gates are you going to see from Classic? He's like, I don't know, 1. He sees 3 out of 6. That could have been 4 out of 7. You kidding me? That is a hell of a lot of the exact same opener, and which is a risk in and of itself, right? Because if your opponent catches on to you always doing the same thing, they will never die to it.
Right.
They'll just have the bunker every game, just blindly make it.
Yeah. I mean, this is what makes StarCraft such a great game, honestly. Like, the mind games here, they have to be flowing. He actually doesn't save it, does he? Oh my god, it's so close. It's so close. Does get this last one, though.
The damage, though, is out of control. 9 SCVs.
Workers,
9. That's so crazy.
This is basically what we were talking about before with the first game, by the way, where, like, literally everything goes wrong if you don't have a bunker on your nat. Like, yeah, you guys can kind of see exactly what we meant. Like, it even went better for Maru because he went reactor first. If Maru went Marine and then reactor and no bunker, he would have just died straight up.
Yeah.
Because not only would he have not had a reactor, but he would only be able to build 1 Marine at a time, and that Marine would have just died.
Well, if you make the Marine, then you got to have the bunker, I guess.
Yeah, that might be the thing. If he didn't get a bunker, he'd be 100% dead. If he did, then maybe.
But yeah, this game shows the power, and I think that we see very clearly on this game why Classic used this strategy so many times, by the way. Because if you do not shut it down before it gets started, What he does with Phoenixes from here
Yeah.
is brilliant. He gets so much done.
One more thing to think about, too, is this map is terrible for Blink. Terrible for Blink.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So Maru may think, okay, if you're going to proxy get me, you're obviously not going to go Blink, right? Like, that's what he did the first game. So he goes straight into Phoenixes, which is pretty good. I kind of like Phoenixes. I like them a lot more than Artosis does.
Oh, I think Phoenixes are pretty terrible against Maru. In a situation like this, you can do what you want.
We literally have this discussion every single time Maru plays a Protoss.
Yeah, and I guess we'll have it tonight because he's playing Patience tonight in GSL.
Patience is going to, like, blow both of our minds. He's like, no, you should be going, like, Disruptor first on one base or something. We're like, what?
It could be.
He's going to go for DTs, I bet. I bet it right now.
I want to see it. Well, there is a DT game in here that we'll go over, so we'll have the inside scoop on how Maru deals with that. I want to just look real quick here how he's got his units spread. He's got a Phoenix up here on patrol, a Phoenix here on patrol, and the 2 Stalkers. As far as I know, as of this moment, Maru does not know that it's Phoenix.
No, he has no idea.
Which I love, right? Because he won't be necessarily in position. If you fly in with your first Phoenix, first off, why? Just to scout what he's doing. It's like you don't need to know. You know he made a command center. You're fine. If you fly in with 2, it's like, what?
Why
do you just
still?
want to like take 100 years to kill an SCV that you lift? So the fact that he's waiting and then also getting a full scout on what's going on, I think that that's a great play.
I like it. I like it a lot. Actually, let's look at their visions. It's actually great. Look at this. So, if you're a medevac, where do you go?
Nowhere. And the thing is, you might see a medevac come out, and then suddenly you're in so much more trouble than you were
Another
before.
thing, too, is really annoying is, like, libs that just happen to be here. Like, there's just so much stuff that you're looking for, and then you look at Maru's vision, and he's just like, he has no idea.
He's like, he has a wall. I know that.
Yeah.
There's a proxy gate out there.
Yeah, this is such a big part of PvT.
Yeah.
I'm really happy that this Stalker didn't just die, because Cyclones are so sick of killing Stalkers, it's not even funny.
Okay, so he has 3 Phoenixes now, so he can actually start to do things.
So from Maru's perspective, he knows there's 3 Stalkers. That's it. He doesn't know what it could be. Could be a Quick Robo, could be Colossus, could be anything, could be Charge, could be +1/+1. Like, it could literally be any build under the sun.
Yeah.
You just see these 3 Stalkers. I really like how long he waits. I would wait to the ends of the earth, you know, and just show up with these Phoenixes. Oh, okay, this is really nice.
Well, the catch is amazing.
When did that even go out?
While you were talking.
Okay. Just go back for a second.
It goes out pretty quickly after he gets it.
I want to follow
right? Because I think that this is, it's like, yeah, I'm sending out a Widowmine, but I think it's more a scout than anything. So it's already out.
Right. How did it get by the Phoenixes in the first place?
The Phoenixes had come down to a group. It looked like he was about to go in, and then one that rallied up to the top of the map actually saw
that was so cute. He was moving his Marines and his Cyclone over here. He's like, I'll save that medevac. Only 1, and then like 4 of them show up and it dies. And he's like, well, guess not.
Well, that's when he knows he's
This
in
is so
serious
crazy,
trouble.
by the way. Like, he doesn't heal it up. I guess he's saving the minerals.
It costs
and
money.
Stuff.
Yeah. I mean, these are the,
These
especially
are the
when you
very
get behind.
cute things. Like, that are at the top level, right?
When you get really behind like this, you need to take every little risk and every little edge.
Basically like the bare minimum to not have it burn anymore.
Yeah. It's very close, too.
It's really cool. I never even thought about stuff like this. Like, I would just repair it all the way and then not be able to produce any units.
Yeah, yeah. It does cost money. So look at this. This is the first time that he's actually come in, right? He's already stopped a harassment with this, and now he, like, you're basically one-shotting SCVs. So he just killed 7 more and only lost a Phoenix.
Look at this map, too. Look at how far they can go back. I think that's out of range, right? Imagine on this map if we had, like a merry-go-round wall back here, like to some extent.
Very different, yeah.
Game's totally different. Almost all those Phoenixes die. So it's actually crazy.
He might not go Phoenixes then.
That's true, though, right? Like, it may be that map-dependent that he might just not go Phoenixes at all.
But look at this. He's killed 17 SCVs so far this game. It's wild.
I mean, I remember, this game I was just like, there's no way you could even lose from this perspective at this point.
There's no way. As Classic, if Classic could lose to Maru from here,
then the
matchup's broken in the other way. And, we'd need that fixed.
Yeah, so Maru definitely bleeding. He's kind of just trying to hold on to as little damages as possible. The problem is here that almost nothing Maru can do here will bring him back. Like, if he goes for some timing attack, it gets shut down. If he goes for the econ game, Classic can out-econ him. Yeah, this is salt in the wound here, losing a tank.
Yeah, and you can trade 2 Stalkers for that very easily.
The funny thing is
third base.
He can't really have his Marines out front. Like, normally you'd want your Marines like here so that they can't just dive on the tanks. But you can't do that because they have to chase these Phoenixes. This
Well-
is pretty bad. He almost loses. Oh, never mind. This is not that bad.
The thing is,
He should have scanned.
I think the fact that he's just keeping him back, he consistently sees how many units there are, he's already done the damage. I think it's almost hard to do anything bad as Classic because you're just you're
playing
so
perfect.
far ahead right now. And the thing is,
I like the Immortal.
yeah,
Because
absolutely.
if you tech the Colossi or something at this point, you could actually possibly die because getting a Raven up, Colossi are extremely expensive. They take a really long time to build,
Mhm.
and Immortal's just like really nice DPS to kind of tank for the rest of your army. And he's getting a +1 armor with a ton of zealots, most likely. He's getting charged. But yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, well, I think that you're quite right about that. When you open up with such a technical play, you actually need some muscle behind it. Like I remember when DT drops became popular, I found out very quickly that you had to go Immortal after them. Because otherwise your army was just too flimsy and would die to anything.
Right.
But one thing I wanted to mention before was normally what we see from Maru is when he sees Phoenixes, he likes to go into 3 base and just get upgrades and go into a kind of a longer game because the Phoenixes don't really do much. It almost looked like you just upgraded that. Wow.
Yeah, that was close.
But
I should be an observer.
yeah, that's, I don't know. It's just this kind of interesting thing because he's trying to fall into that. He's
Right.
trying to back up and play a regular game here, but with the amount of damage that he's already taken.
Right. I mean, when you're in Maru's position, you're asking yourself, how do I get back?
Yeah.
And like I said, when I'm going through these in my head, quick third base doesn't necessarily help you because he's got a third already. Could take a fourth and just, outdo you, right? He could do the Zerg thing and just take a fourth. What are you going to do if you're taking your third? Double ups, which is what he's doing now, can leave you, like, there's a long time between when you start them and when you can actually use them. So he's playing the passive game. This is about as good as it gets for Maru. If he attacks, he just dies.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, Classic was pretty much like, all right, I'm just going to build an army and wait for you to attack me. And then that didn't happen. Like, this army would destroy anything.
Yeah.
If Maru was doing the Gumiho thing where you drop down supply stuff and just build a massive army, he'd still be dead.
Yeah.
Like,
The Storm would
how many
finish him off
storms?
easily. A lot in a moment here.
Yeah. So,
But I also want to say I really like how Classic, like he took his third very quickly, right? He's teching, he gets his third. He keeps a reasonably powerful army and gets his upgrades flowing because that's how he's going to win no matter what is this upgrade advantage. But also as the third lands, he's like, oh, time for my fourth.
Yeah.
And he can do that, like, if you're playing a regular game where you didn't do a bunch of damage,
Right.
this might become a little bit tricky, right? Trying to get another base up, get it saturated completely and all that. But Classic can kind of do everything at once so that if any one thing goes wrong, he's got other things to back him up.
look at this. These are the plays that a really good player will do. He has vision almost everywhere. The aggression here kind
Yeah,
of...
let's look at his vision, actually. Look at that.
Yeah, it's pretty much everywhere where a drop will come in.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that it's pylons. Like, you don't want to build 1 million observers. It's really obnoxious to do that. You don't even... Your Classic doesn't even need to... The best thing is Maru knows this is coming. Okay?
Yeah.
Maru has known he's dead for so long, and he's just like, look at this.
This is so well defended.
This is like the most... Remember we were watching Neve versus Maru, and he did the same stuff. Like, these walls are so sick. Like, you come up here, you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you have a maxed army. Like,
Well, you
this is-
say that, but...
Yeah, it's true, because it actually happens. But you shouldn't... Like, this is about as good as it gets for Maru. Like, you can't do any better with what you have. You've got 4 tanks,
Yeah.
5 tanks, 6 tanks.
He's got 6 tanks
or
here.
He's got a Raven to disable.
Mhm.
He's got libs on each ramp.
He's
He's got
making
a wall
turrets
so
and
zealots
stuff.
can't just come in and kill the tanks.
Like, look at the building placement right here, right? This is so crazy. I was actually surprised that Classic attacked it. I'm like, this is the one way you can lose. Because
Yeah.
look at the actual supply, right? It's not that far off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's 4 more SCVs for Maru. Okay, so let's add 4 onto the different supply count, right? So it's like he's up 25. So Classic has 29 army supply more, which is a hell of a lot
We
more.
just did this. Look at 72 to 103.
Oh, shit, look at that.
Whoops. Anyways, yeah, you
Yeah, well, I still got it right.
did. You're good.
Right?
The one...
Did I?
I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
not going to try and
probably.
do math on stream.
Anyways.
The big thing here is upgrades, and Classic has a 4th behind this. So, in theory, if he looked at this and was like, I can't break this, he goes home with the 4th base. Kind of keeps Maru from taking his 4th. But apparently he sees this and he's like, I can do that. Which is surprising, because like you said, I think this is the one way you could lose, and I thought he was going to find a way to throw
Yeah.
this game when I watched it.
Yeah, I actually, when he was getting ready to attack, I think even in my commentary, I'm like, ooh, this is the one way that this might go wrong. And I stand by that, and I actually stand by it more now that I'm watching the replay. Because, like, yes, he is about to break him and kill him. But the one thing I noticed missing from Maru here, because, look, he started his 4th CC. He's actually adding a 2nd factory, which I think is really cool. There's no armory, though. He does not have an armory for 2-2.
Right.
Look at that.
Well,
that's an oversight, because that's the one way as Classic that you're like super guaranteed to win is if you're fighting suddenly you're on like 2-3 upgrades against 1-1.
Right.
Oh, get out of the game.
The only thing is he died without it. You know? Like going back, there's no way 2-2 would be finished, right? In time.
Oh no, absolutely.
So like yeah.
But he starts his 4th command center, so he's still planning on the longer game.
He definitely is planning to play the longer game. Yeah. So you're right, but at the same time, I don't think Maru moves out until he has 3-3.
You're probably right about that as well.
He's gonna play this game to the longest extent he possibly can.
What I'm looking at here, he was 100% planning not to move out until at least 2-2.
Yeah,
100% and max out, of course.
So it's even possible that he delays it on purpose to not die, because obviously 2-2 will not help you whatsoever in this case. We know this right now from like 2020 hindsight, but at the same time, it does feel like an oversight. I don't think.
Yeah, I think it was no, it was not expensive.
Even if you weren't gonna get the upgrades, like you see this and you're like, oh, he's at my door. I'm not starting 2-2. It's definitely worth it to just get the armory.
Yeah.
And then if he doesn't attack you, you get 2-2.
Well, you have to be able to eventually move against the Protoss. You don't want to sit for 100 million
Maru
years.
Could also just be like, you know what, I'm dead. Like he could just be sitting here like, ah.
Well, let's watch this fight, because this is crazy when this happens.
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Speaking of armories.
Yeah, just now starting it. It is quite a bit late, though.
Funny thing is, we were giving him so much credit against Neeb for not missing the armories. Remember?
Happens to everyone. Okay, so look at this.
Look at that. That disable was so sick. If he had 3 more storms, could you imagine how fast this army would melt?
It was a great disable.
It would just be gone. Like, even now, when he's on the ropes and he's about to lose, he's so focused on what he needs to disable. Doesn't even know there's Templar in there.
Oh,
but
he knows.
You know what I mean?
He knows.
He just knows what would kill him, right? Classic is pushed back, you know? But Classic knows. Classic knows there's no way he defends this. Even without proper storms, he still has 2 more storms. He's storming siege tanks.
Well, I think it's just super impressive that he even knows that he's going to break this, because that's like one of those situations where you'll try to attack and you actually will lose and be like, oops.
At the end of this, look at the army supply.
Well, look at the actual army supply. Yeah.
Wait, where is the 58? Okay, well, I'm just curious. Because, yeah, this is obviously bad, but even now, 66 Classic is behind in army supply right now. Am I missing something? Where's his army? Okay, let's play this a bit. Let's see how many units there are. 5 tanks.
Yeah, let's just pause it at
1160.
There we go. Okay. And he's got stuff producing.
If these SCVs weren't dead, just straight up dead, would it, even at the end when all those SCVs got stormed, it's 59 to 66.
Okay, but even so, like on 4 bases, Classic can do everything in the whole world.
I agree. I'm just saying it's surprisingly closer than it should be, considering it looked so decisive.
Yeah, the defensive setup was ludicrous, like we pointed out. That was Maru's defensive setups are crazy. He just won't die to a Protoss.
Mark Albrecht said, just came here to witness beauty of StarCraft in general and congratulate you, the old man, to be S rank because of #passion.
Thanks, Mark. You can do it too, buddy.
All right, so interesting game. Basically, everything went wrong for Maru.
You lose that many SCVs, 9 to the initial proxy gate.
Yep.
The difference between a bunker and no bunker, what a big deal.
Yeah.
What a ridiculously big deal.
Well, let's log into StarCraft again. 3rd time's the charm.
To the end of my days. Be frustrated with that.
So the funny thing is, the first game we basically said the bunker saved him. The second game, no bunker. Look what happens.
Yeah.
We basically have an example of immediately after what happens if you don't build a bunker and there's a proxy gate. So yeah, build your bunkers, guys.
Build your bunkers.
Build your bunkers.
It's important. SCV Scout.
I bet Maru's going to build lots of bunkers against Patience.
Oh, my God. Probably open with one before the command center.
Hello, Mark. Hello. Long time no see.
All right. This is game number 3.
This one?
Yes.
Look at that. Game number 3. So, this map is a little bit different. Like the last map, you almost should never open with a wall on the low ground, guys, unless you can keep the Reaper from getting in your base. It doesn't make any sense if you build the wall here and the Reaper just jumps in. So basically, last map is the only map where you can wall on the low ground.
Yeah.
At the start. I actually like the mechanic. I'd like to see it a bit more. There was an interesting strategy for Zerg players. Really quick side note, where you go hatch, gas pool, hatch in ZVT, and you build a Reaper here on that map, right? Like there's no jump spot. You build your queen here. What can the Reaper do, right?
Oh.
Like I played against it once. I'm like, why doesn't everybody do this? Because nobody still does it. I feel like nobody does it still. It's so good because the Zerg player or Terran player has no ability to come in and see that it's what it is. You just see a queen.
So you're talking about Port Alexander specifically?
I think that's map.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Port Alexander. That's the one.
It's so strong. Nobody does it though.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that.
Because when you come in with the Reaper, you just see a queen. Looks exactly identical. 4 lings and a queen, but there's a third base literally finishing. Like, it's so strong. But I don't see any pro gamers do it because they're slow sometimes to catch on to what's really strong.
Smooth brains. Bunch of banana heads.
We'll see it one day, and I'll be like, hey, remember when I was talking about this on the in-depth show? This is why you guys need to watch. I'm bringing you the insight that even pro gamers don't really understand. So, quite a nice wall. It's hard to mess this up, really. We did a show match with Pig, and Special messed up this wall.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, and we're like, how is this even possible? You're a Terran player. You should know exactly where to put your buildings.
Underestimating the Protoss. That's what Terran do. You have no idea how hard it is to put those buildings down the right location.
Oh, look at this. Wait. He didn't scout at all, right?
Okay, we got to rewind now and check.
We messed this. Why did he built the bunker?
Okay.
Okay, I'm just going to follow his camera just to see what he sees. Builds a command center.
Okay, so here comes the SCV right now.
Where's this pylon?
SCV comes up.
Okay.
Sees a forward pylon, a nexus.
Our SCVs are under attack.
Okay, hold on. But he sees a cybernetics core.
Okay. Is the Chrono on the gate?
Command center upgrade.
Chrono's on the gateway.
Okay. That has to be why then.
Huh.
That's interesting.
That is interesting.
You know what?
He sees the second pylon, so he knows it's not a pylon on the map already.
This is and he sees the nexus, so he's doubly sure.
Now, he still builds it.
It's like you can really be completely certain, especially as a pro gamer, especially as Maru, that there's no gateway on the map. So this is actually maybe the most interesting thing that we found so far.
I agree.
This, to me, feels like PTSD from game number 2.
It's very possible.
Right?
And you know what you see, too? Remember what we were talking about? There's no reactor on this Rex right away. He's building the Marine first.
Yeah.
So maybe every time you build a Marine first, you have to build a bunker or you just die.
That makes sense.
So I'm curious where his... Because he has a lot of gas. If you should just be able to throw a factory down immediately then.
If you are chronoing the Adept, you are going to harass the Nexus 100% of the time.
Yes.
Now, maybe part of this is he wants his Reaper to scout still, because he's only going to get one scout. If you see this chronoing, hold on. If you see it chronoing, right?
Yep.
The Adept's coming across the map, and there's a wall here. So your Reaper has a very small time period where it can actually get in and get a scout done.
Right.
Because as soon as he decides to keep units at home, you're basically stuck out of his base. So I think that might be what it is. I think that the bunker is less because he's afraid right now, and maybe more just to make sure he knows what the next tech route is.
To be fair, too, if you don't leave your Reaper at home, well, even if you leave your Reaper at home and you have a Marine, the Adepts are still extremely annoying. So you kind of, I guess he just sees the Chrono. I think also, yeah, you can send the Reaper around. Like the Reaper comes over here or whatever, like runs around the center, and the Adept goes across. Because the Protoss actually has no idea, right? So he's going to send the Adept 100%. You just send the Reaper a long way, and then once the Adept pops, you go in. So we'll see him do this. You might even be able to catch the Adept leaving, like past this SCV. Does he leave the Adept at home? I wonder.
No. If you chrono it, it's going. I'm surprised he hasn't thrown the shade. Jeez.
Yeah, that's
Let's take a little bit longer to throw that shade if we could.
That's why I was asking, because it didn't throw the shade immediately.
That's just a mistake. I don't know why he didn't do
Well, he
that.
sends
but-
the Reaper home.
Oh, that's
This
super
ma-
weird.
This makes no sense. Strategically, this Reaper is pretty much going to add nothing. Like, the bunker is already going to have a Marine in it. Wait,
and then you put the wall up, and that's...
where's the Marine? Wait,
He canceled the Marine.
what's going on? Okay, so that's why he's sending the Reaper home, I guess.
Huh. Well, yeah.
Okay.
The bunker is still kind of interesting, but okay. I
This
guess,
is-
I mean, you see him croning the gate. He can continue to do that.
Like, I don't mind doing this, but it feels like Maru's a little bit indecisive himself. Perhaps expecting a proxy gate this game?
But he knows there's not a proxy gate.
I know.
And there's no way that you can't not know that.
I also know that.
Well, this shows you guys that... Well, I'm
Look
not
at-
sure what it
look at
shows you,
this.
but it shows you something.
Base is under
Pro
Maru-
gamers are not perfect either.
Yeah. I really don't mind the reactor.
You know, the more I'm watching this occur, though,
Mhm.
the more happy I am that he has a bunker.
Yeah, of course.
Because look how good this micro is from him. I mean, I
Alright.
don't think you're ever going to have to cancel this command center against a build like this. I don't think that's ever going to happen, but maybe this saves him multiple SCVs.
Tons of time. I mean, the last game this happened, he didn't have a bunker. He lost 9 SCVs.
Well, no. That's a different thing because that's a proxy gate, right? So
Sure.
this is, like, I'm sure that he would get some SCVs, but it's not going to be like last game where it's game ending. But this bunker is doing a lot.
Well, I mean, he'd be in so much worse of a position if he didn't have the bunker.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see the opener. Like, what was his thought process on, like, originally getting the Marine and then canceling it and building the reactor? Doesn't make that much sense to me because he scouted almost immediately. He didn't even go in the main. He already knew it wasn't that, right? Like, sees the pylon low ground, boom, already know it's not a proxy gate.
Yeah.
Then he sees the Nexus, and it's like, boom, this is double not a proxy gate. And then he comes up and sees a chrono.
It's the chrono that caused it. It's interesting that a walled-in base doesn't get you a bunker, but a chrono does. Isn't that a chrono plus a nexus?
Yeah.
A wall-in with no nexus, no bunker.
It's very interesting from Maru. I think he perhaps has a vision of how Classic is going to play this that doesn't coincide with what's happening.
You got to remember as well, this was Game 3. Was there a commercial after Game 2?
I think so. You should know this, not me.
You think I remember how many
I think
GSL
every
finals I've
2
casted?
games is a commercial. Does anybody in chat know? I think it's
I
every
think it
2
might be
games.
after Game 1 because there's so much intro. Anyways, regardless, this could have been something from his teammates as well when you think about it, where they're like, make a bunker.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Just go for the bunker.
Sounds like something SOS would be like, dude.
Yeah, just
make
make
a
the
bunker.
bunker. He can't
Just make
beat you
one.
if you make a bunker.
Okay, let's watch. Let's play it
Anyways.
out. By the way, if you're not Maru, you just lose everything here.
Yeah.
Maru basically loses everything, but if
You
you're
would've
not
really
Maru,
lost
you certainly lose everything.
yeah. What an annoying stalker.
Yeah.
Ooh!
At least this is done, which is nice. Look at this. He even has the mine ready. Does he go for the Oracle? He does go for Phoenixes. No Oracle. Like, this is also cool stuff that makes the player so much better. Like, immediately, you don't even need this down here. You're just like, I'm going to leave this in my mineral line in case of any... Like, an Oracle flies in, the game is over. So,
Yeah.
this is nice. Finally, he can send the Reaper out. For the whole game.
Yeah, it's interesting because he has no idea what's going on right now other than a few
he has
units got
no
rallied
idea.
to his base. I love the amount of
like-
pressure that Classic has kept on in this series so far.
Yeah, he has. I mean, I think you have to against Maru, right? Because you let Maru dictate the game, you just lose. Like, when
thing
you watch
is-
someone like Trap play back and just kind of die over and over again, like, he's trying to react to, like, he was going Phoenixes in preparation for drops and stuff. Obviously, that doesn't happen. Like, you let Maru dictate the game, you die.
But Maru's style overall isn't very much about dictating this matchup, it feels like. He actually feels more reactive than even TY. Like,
Right now, yeah, I agree.
yeah, so it's kind of an interesting thing where, like,
But-
you can't out-micro him, you can't out-macro him, and he's going to react perfectly to what you do, basically. So you have to, like, dictate the game to a T,
There's
right?
One thing to think about, too, though. I was about to say something. Oh, yeah, Maru is perfect at both sides of the coin. Like, a lot of players are very predictably strong at certain aspects. I feel like Maru is known to be the aggressor, but at the same time, he plays to a passively to almost to a fault, and is totally fine with it. So it's actually incredible to see both sides of the coin be played so often.
Yeah.
Where you can almost flip a coin, go for the proxy racks, flip the other
Yeah,
coin,
yeah, yeah.
go for the passive macro, and even in TVZ, It's incredible.
I don't
to
think
see
I've ever seen a player like that. The more I'm
No,
thinking
it's
about it
very
right
rare.
now.
Like even you look at someone like TY, we don't say necessarily TY is probably the closest
yeah.
to that, and he still has his own aspects, his own playstyle that
Yeah.
we from like associate with him. With Maru, it almost feels like we don't have anything to associate with him right now. At some point, it
We
was
have like
proxy
old
Raxes,
ideas, but yeah, you're right.
but you
like
would never
right now,
say a
he's
proxy
so
Rax.
all-encompassing
Yeah.
that it's like you can't really predict what he'll do. Because yeah,
No.
he can all-in you better than anyone in the world, but he will also react to you and play a macro
Yeah.
game better
It's
than anyone in the
actually
world.
incredible.
I'm
Really.
actually trying to think of anyone like this that switches so differently between the two and so fluidly. And only one name came to my mind, which is Sulky in StarCraft 1 right now, where that guy will literally 7-pool you or play the best macro game anyone's ever seen from Zerg.
Right.
And you look at it and you're like,
And the
both of
Zerg-
these came from the same player in the
Zerg
series?
is also way easier to do that. Like I don't know about in StarCraft 1, but in StarCraft 2 for sure, Zerg has way more opportunities to be really aggressive in the early game or also be extremely reactive. The race is literally built to be reactive
Yeah.
right now. So
I guess Dark is a little bit in that category.
Dark is close. Dark is probably the closest, but at the same time, Dark is not even near the pedestal right now comparing to Maru.
Yeah.
Like Maru is on his 4th, possibly 5th GSL title.
Yeah, we'll see.
And
tonight.
when I try to characterize him with a certain thing, I can't right now.
No, I know. It's crazy. He's like patience.
Well, patience, we can characterize him with his bad blinks. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Additional supply depot.
But the more I watch Maru, the more and more I feel like if I had to play him and I was a Protoss, I would be so scared. Like
Seriously, it seems that way.
he could do so much, and I feel like this is why a lot of Protosses feel like they have to play a certain style that they don't necessarily want to. Like you see almost everybody open with Phoenixes,
Which I think is so stupid.
and to
But,
some extent I understand why, but at the same time, I don't. You know, it feels like a little bit of a rock paper scissors right now with the Phoenix openers, where they're good against certain things, but they're also just so bad. Also,
That was bad.
why? He killed a Marine, and he's still like.
Well, he got
fainting.
a scout of what was there, I guess, so that's important. But yeah, it's a pretty good scout
Yeah.
because he saw the Viking too, so it's not like there's a big question what's going on. Okay, so let's talk about what we see here. So it's Phoenix, then into Colossus, and he's making a couple Immortals to go with it. I mean, I like the Immortals to go with it. The thing is, in general, I think that Phoenixes are such a risky play against Maru. This guy really knows how to play against this type of thing. And I was actually kind of trying to think of this a little bit and why I think that this is bad. And I think that this might be part of it. What we see from Classic is he's doing 3 things at once. I think that StarCraft is a game where you can do 2 things at once, right?
Okay.
Like you can do 2 things. You have to be careful about it, but if you skirt the lines, you can do 2 things.
Okay.
3 things is too greedy.
Okay.
Okay? No, this is real.
Okay, I'm
This is real,
listening. I'm
okay?
listening.
So, like, for instance, okay, let's name 3 things. Can you tech and attack and expand at the same time? Does that make sense when you see that? Do all those at
You
once?
can, but it sounds bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
Because you don't have enough resources for all 3.
Because it is bad, okay? So that's 3 things. But can you expand and attack at the same time? Yeah, kind of, right?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, every Protoss in the world, before they attack, make the 3rd Nexus. You know? It's
Right.
the thing is, he's going for Phoenixes, which are soft,
Yeah.
right? He's going for Colossus, which is soft.
Well, he's certainly trying to do too many things.
and he's going 3rd Nexus, all at the same time.
Look at
here.
he's getting a Forge too, so
Yeah.
he's basically doing like 4 things. Does he have a
things.
Twilight? No. Okay.
No.
Well, that would be
Well, if
crazy.
he had a Twilight.
If he had a
Jesus.
Twilight, someone would have to
And a Fleet Beacon. Like,
someone would
let's
have to
have
enroll him into like an economics course or
Yeah.
something. But yeah, I like the Stalkers. This is something you should always do if you're a Protoss. It gives you so much vision on when he's moving out.
Mhm.
It's a little bit scary when you don't have Blink, but if you're Classic, you're not just going to lose these. So the only thing I would like is if they were spread out a bit more. Like if you have some Stalkers over here, you can possibly catch drops or any crazy things that are going on.
He has his Phoenixes on the side. They aren't really doing too much. Thing is, do you think you might be able to tell that there's not a drop coming based on the build so far?
Yeah.
It
No, you-
feels
you
like you
do.
can look at this and say, okay, there's no
If
drop.
Maru dropped here, I would say we should dissect his brain and see what's going on in there because
Yeah.
that would just be insane. Where you're like, oh, he was going Phoenixes, let's send out a drop. Like,
yeah.
it's like the one way you could just kind of like
Really throw it.
lose. Yeah. But at the same time, it probably would have worked because it's
Well,
Maru.
he's Maru, right? So I guess he can do anything. But here it's like Classic is doing so many things at the moment. There's also this issue where he's playing against this composition that Maru's making. There's a lot of siege tanks in it, right? This is a very strong army that we have, and there's a Raven. When you're playing against something like this, with something that it's going to be good against, I feel like you got to get out and slow it down. This is like a general rule against long-range sieging units. Like, for instance, let's say that we're looking at a PVZ, right, and they're going swarm hosts. You want to be out on the map. If they get near your nexus and launch their locus, you're in trouble. Same thing with siege tanks. Same things. If lurkers come up and burrow at your third nexus or at your natural, you're in trouble.
No,
so
this is true. This is really
yeah,
true.
we don't see where Classic's sitting here. Okay, what does he know is going on right now? Like,
Well,
his Phoenixes might see it move out.
Pretty much like, he had an observer here, it died.
Mm-hmm.
He, even sitting here, you're getting to the point where you can just walk over here and, you know, you have like this choke that's far enough away that's not going to kill your nexus. But the further out you engage the army, the more time you buy.
Yeah.
Right? So even if this army, as long as it's not literally over here and you don't have an army because it's so far away from your like rally point, I actually like it. Especially if it's 3-4 shields. Like, you could sit over here somewhere.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I think, you know, the Stalkers being out there was already smart. The one thing I guess you could be afraid of is, like, a concussive shells. You know, that can be a little bit frightening.
Raven.
Well, the Raven is actually, I think, part of the reason why you got to be out here.
I agree.
Is to slow it down, maybe get it to cast
Remember
a
that,
spell.
I feel like it was one of these games in the series where we're talking about his Raven energy and being, like, really misused. I think he still won the game, but it was like Classic.
Oh, it's year zero.
Yeah. He misused his Raven energy, and it was like, well, this is like almost the only way he can come back. I think he still won that game, but it was just like, if
yeah, we'll definitely go into that in
we can
depth.
go over it in year zero because it's literally in the series.
Yeah.
But yeah, Raven. Also, how does this happen?
Yeah.
This should never happen in a StarCraft 2 game.
This is the actual problem here, right? Classic, let's take a look at the armies, because this is right before they actually have an engage, okay? So we have 5 tanks, 6 Marauder, 22 Marine, a couple Medivacs, Raven. And then we have 11 Stalker, 2 Colossus, 2 Immortal.
This army should, in theory, actually beat Mars, I think. As long as it does not do what it's doing.
Yeah, well,
like if this
that's
was
the thing.
engaged
In
here,
position, sieged,
yes,
Maru's army wins.
Maru very easily wins.
Unsieged walking across the map, you can pick units off.
Yeah, if this engagement was here and he had to siege, and then you get a third Colossus and you keep producing, and then he comes over here and he sieges again, and then he comes here and he sieges again, and then now you've got like this huge flanking area, like it just shows
I'm
up.
in shock actually. Why is Classic over here on his side of the map?
I don't know.
You can kind of already tell that it's not drop based. He didn't make any more Phoenixes, so he doesn't think it's drop based. It's not like he rushed into Blink or anything or made defensive cannons or shield batteries in any location. He knows it's not drops.
Even now, from Classic's perspective, right? He just picked up a couple Marines here. Where's the army?
Yeah.
How do you not, in your mind, alarm bells be going off and being like, where is his army? Like, not knowing where the army is literally death as a Protoss.
Yeah.
Someone who's just getting into it, if I lose sight of the army for a minute, it's in my base, it's in my third, it's in my nat, it's wherever I don't want it to be. That's where it is. It's sieged up. There's a Raven. It's ready to disable my stuff. Like, it's so obnoxious to lose the army. I can't overstress it.
I think I mentioned this before, but you see that white paper on my wall right there? It says PVT, the lined paper on the very right. PVT.
No. Wait. Which one? This one?
Right. To the right.
Okay.
See PVT?
Oh, yeah, I see it.
What's it say?
Where the fuck is he?
Yes, because that's what I call the PVT matchup. Because that is almost every PVT game. When you're playing a reactive Protoss like this, and I always play Colossus-type builds, where the fuck is he? Is the actual name of the game. It has nothing to do with anything else. It's just, where is the Terran at?
Yeah.
Because when they get into a position like this, you will never win.
I just don't understand why. Because he sees there's nothing here, right? We're following Classic's vision. I think he thinks he's about to be attacked at his third. Look at this army, right? This is the
yeah,
posture.
he's getting into the position to do it, yeah.
At this point.
And then he gets scanned there.
At this point, he's like, fuck me. I can already tell he knows he's fucked. Because this is where you expect the army to be. And it's not. He expected to be somewhere even more aggressive. At this point, he knows he's fucked because he's asking himself, where the fuck is he?
Yeah.
Look at him. He immediately, before the army gets here, where is he clicking his army? He's clicking his army at his nap because he knows he's fucked, okay? And then, watch what happens. This is the fuck me moment.
This is so heartbreaking.
Wait, let's watch his camera. He's like, well, fuck. Like, at this point, he knows he's fucked, all right? I can tell.
Well, the tanks are sieging. And that's the beginning of the end. Look at that. He has a Colossus die before the engagement.
I think at this point, he's just like, fuck me. Like, you know,
Dude,
what can I do?
This is so brutal. You know what? This entire game really does come down to that.
Yeah.
It comes down to he did not have anything watching for the news to come out. He had the stalkers there. He ran them back for whatever reason. And then he realized, you know what? You know what I need to do right now? I need to start approaching Maru so that when his army comes, I can stop it. But instead of going towards a third, Maru went towards a natural, and so Classic lost this game.
Yeah.
Wow.
Think about it, too, because he doesn't have a third. Like, Classic's
Oh, no,
army,
this is the worst
look at
build
the
that
army.
Maru has done against
Classic
this.
is literally up 20 or 10 supply. 10. Like, he just needed a not terrible engagement. He needed to buy as much time. This is basically all in from Maru to the extent that it would need to trade fully, and he'd still be in trouble if these armies just traded, and Classic had a third.
Yeah, he needs to do a little bit more than that. Yeah.
Does he have forges? He doesn't have. Oh, yeah, he does. Poor Classic. This is Classic's game to win, as long as he just sees the army and keeps engaging it constantly.
Unit positioning and army movement are two of the most important things in StarCraft 2, and here we really, really see that driven home.
Yeah, at this point, Classic knows he's dead. I don't think he even really expects to win this fight anymore. He goes for it. This is basically as good as it gets. Disabling on the Colossus, though, this is basically GG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just nothing left.
Completely destroyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, you know what his army supply was before the fight?
What?
It was 49 to 60.
Okay.
With the rallying units, it's still 49 to 60.
That's
so
funny.
basically, he lost like 2 Marauders. Yeah, almost nothing died here for Maru. That's very unfortunate. You can. Classic has played enough games to know he's fucked basically.
Dude.
And yeah, that sucks for him. He literally clicked here before it died.
Yeah.
Like if he had
Before it showed up, he knew. He
knew
was
where it
aware.
was.
It was just a little bit too slow. Wow, that is. I'm so glad that we're getting to go over this because now I'm actually starting to feel heartbreak for Classic.
Yeah, it's
who's going to be going in the military soon and stuff because suddenly I see game number 3 where he could have taken a lead 2-1. And this is not Maru's top-end stuff against Phoenix builds because I've talked so much about it, like how he goes third command instantly against most Phoenix builds. This game he decided to do a 2-base, right? And
it's so much
Classic,
worse.
what Classic had, I actually believe he could have held this.
100%.
I really do.
If
with
we
3
change
sentries
this
and 2
game-
immortals in
we
that.
change this game to Maru attacking down this pathway.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening. Wait, we can go back to the game for a sec.
Yeah.
If he attacks down this pathway, because this is literally Classic put all his eggs in this basket. The Phoenixes were here. The army moved out to here. This was he definitely played himself here a lot.
He decided.
I don't think many
And
Terrans are just like, I'm
you
going to
know
go for
what?
the jugular.
Let me show something here, right? Because this is actually an important thing. Right here, these rocks, this is normally where Terran sets up on this map. Almost all the TVPs I see, they throw their siege tanks down here.
Yeah.
Then the bio comes around this way, and Micro's here.
Yep.
So Classic, actually very early on with his Immortals, shot those down, brought his Stalkers back, right? Made sure that this area was clean, and then walked around this way
Right.
to connect with him. And the thing is, if Maru tries to push here,
Yeah.
and these rocks are gone,
Oh, he's just
this push doesn't work
it's
at
so
all.
It's so much worse.
So this
Not
was
to
actually.
mention, the army was just situated more aggressively for Classic, right?
I need to jump back because he actually scans here.
Oh, you think he was
He
planning his
scans
whole
here.
attack around the center because of the rocks being gone?
It might be. I want to see the timing of it because he actually does scan. Let's watch.
Follow Mars camera. I'm curious.
You love camera follow.
I like it because, yeah, you don't like.
Okay, so hold on. That went way too fast. Okay, so he scanned and the rocks are already gone.
Right.
Okay. He hasn't moved out
I
yet,
love
but
the army
this
was not
scan literally saw that the rocks were gone,
Mm.
and Maru attacked in the other direction. I swear to God, I've watched so many TVPs on this map, and they all attack here. So I think Classic looked at this in a very interesting way, where he tried to take out the rocks. And this scan, I don't want to give Maru more credit than his due, but look where the center of the scan is.
Yeah.
A lot of times when you scan places, you like just throw it
scan
down
the
on the
center of the
nexus,
base, yep.
right? Because then you see everything that's buildable, basically. He scanned just enough to see the rocks, I believe.
He didn't even see the army. That's how
Right?
close it
So
was.
this would have been
So
this would have been that much further. Okay, so
There's no way he would have saw the rocks if
he would not have seen. See that? See those lines? Those are the same length, guys. I have a measure tool here, and yeah, I don't think he would have seen that the rocks were down. So Classic prepped for this push. He knew that it was a 2-base from Maru. He prepped for the push. Maru did a scan that saw the rocks were gone and went in a different direction.
Yeah, it feels like an extremely unfortunate situation for Classic this entire game, though. Like, these two Phoenixes happened to miss the army move out, and it just, everything feels like it had gone wrong. Like, look at how close these, if they had just kept going, they would have saw everything.
Okay, hold on. They see that. They see that. They move down.
This is when
look, and this is the ramp you go down to attack here as well. Just FYI.
Whoa.
When you're attacking, you don't go up here and then down. So he actually checked this, saw it moving out. Okay?
Even
here
now,
it comes,
like
here it comes, here it comes. Where was that scan?
Should have been
oh my
super
god.
suspicious, though.
Oh my god.
At the same time, if you see a scan like that, like
Terran's scan where they're about to go. It's a big. If your main gets scanned, just recall right then.
I agree.
They're coming at that second.
Terran should stop doing that. But
Look at this.
At the same time, it makes sense.
Look at this. Oh my god. And then he's like, "Your army's over there, right?" And Maru sees that. He's like, "Oh yeah, GSL number 4."
Over,
Wow.
Yeah. All right.
Wow.
Let's get this game off our screen. Oh.
Were you trying to end the show? Get out of here.
My bad.
There you go. There you go.
They're almost exactly the same.
Yeah, they look the same.
But yeah. So unfortunate for Classic. He
That's
had all the right tools to win that game.
That's crazy. But Maru, how good is he with that scan placement, seeing the rocks, and adjusting his plan?
He scans the army too. Just like a double fuck you, you know? Like, not only did he scan the army wasn't there, he scanned where the army was. If you're Maru, you gotta feel bad for your opponents at some point.
Dude, this is crazy.
You're just too smart.
This is the greatest replays I've ever seen.
Yeah.
This is amazing. I'm so happy right now.
Oh, by the way, Pig, thank you for the host, my dude.
Oh.
300 viewers, I think it was.
Damn, thank
Appreciate
you, Pig. Yeah. By the way, guys, if you want to support
in
depth, you can go ahead and
give us money.
We love money, and that's
it'll keep the show going.
We appreciate.
We run off of
we will
donations.
have a Patreon up for next week. We
yes.
began working on that, so if you want to support us in that way, that's great. Thank you.
You hosted? I'm sorry, Maynard.
Who's that?
I hosted too, but you know it's whatever. I'm sorry, Maynard. I didn't see that. I love you. Thank you for the host as well.
There we go.
There we go. That's a lot of viewers. We're doing good.
Pig, I love you, Pig. Thank you, Pig.
Thanks,
All right.
Pig. Only Pig, though. Anybody else who hosted us? Who even are you?
Okay. Are we ready for game
ready.
number 4? So
Let's do it.
This is the Tempest game.
So I had insider info on this, and I basically told them that this was going to happen.
Yeah, why don't you tell us about this a little bit?
So
you told me before, and I mentioned when he actually went for the Fleet Beacon. I was like, okay, and NoRegreT told us about this a little bit.
So he was practicing a lot with Special for this game, and Special just kept dying to it over and over again. But basically the way the map lends itself, it seems like this is a pretty good map to do this, where you can harass this ramp pretty comfortably. Like, there's tons of cliffs here to back up your Tempests. And essentially, it's free reign when it comes to a Tempest rush. Yeah, there's really not much to say about it. It's just a Tempest rush. But yeah, he practiced a lot with Special. I think he practiced with tons of Terrans about it. They had no clue. Like, Maru's team of people had no idea this was coming.
Yeah, you were actually sitting next to SOS, weren't you, during this?
SOS was saying this build's trash. SOS is like, oh, all he needs is like 2 or 3 Cyclones, and those Tempests are all dead. And
well, guess what? He gets those with the upgrade, and they still die. So
SOS said that he specifically played Maru with Proxy Tempest a lot.
This isn't Proxy, though.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying what SOS told me. Okay, I don't know. Sorry. Okay. So I quite was intrigued to see how this played out, because I knew they would have no idea that this was coming. And it basically, the funny thing was, me and Scarlet were sitting behind Special when it happened, and a Tempest flew out like here, and the Reaper saw it, and we're like, what is going on? Like, we're confused as hell. Literally the exact same thing happens with Maru.
Yeah.
Like, the Tempest just flies over the Reaper randomly. I'm like, this is identical. Like, you'll see what I mean, because I'll point it out. But it's just such a weird thing. The Reaper scouts a Tempest.
Yeah.
And it happened both times I saw this build.
Well, he still died to it. It's hard to play against something for the very first time and beat it.
Yeah, well, apparently SOS prepped him for it, so...
Well,
They just didn't know that it was going to be this series, I guess. I don't know.
you know, the thing is, SOS does all these crazy weird builds, but obviously, if Classic has it really mapped out for a single map,
Yep.
it's going to be better tested than like SOS practicing a different version of a Tempest Rush against Maru.
Yeah.
Because there's no way they could be exactly the same. There's just no way.
This is the first time we've ever seen it,
Yeah.
the way Classic did it. Classic just did it his own way,
Mhm.
and he prepped for it, and he prepped for the map. This is what the most amazing thing about StarCraft is in giving people time to prep on certain maps.
Yeah.
Apparently, I asked one of the GSL people in advance because I was curious how everything lined up. Apparently, they knew the map orders weeks in advance.
Yeah, they know the map orders ahead of time.
So, like, my mind was blown because I didn't know that was a thing.
Mhm.
That's so huge, guys.
Yeah.
If you know the map order a week in advance and you can kind of plan the meticulous, like, what you're going to do,
Mhm.
I'm going to lose this map maybe, but I've got this strategy on this map. And, like, if, for example, this was game 4 or 5, totally different situation. Game 3, that means it's a certain play. Is this game 3?
This is game 4.
Okay, game 4,
But-
you need to take one game.
Well, I think no, because it's a best 7.
Oh, okay.
So you
So
get this
as
map
long
no
as
matter
it's
what.
in the section, you feel
Yeah.
much better about practicing it,
Oh, absolutely.
right?
It's
For
not
example,
a waste
if
of
this
time
is map
ever.
5.
Yeah.
It's way less important.
Mm-hmm.
Like map 4 means it's 100% going to happen, regardless if you're 3 down already and this is your 4th map. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
So
And back to what you said about that, knowing the maps ahead of time, that's another reason why I think map 2 was so interesting.
Right.
With the lack of bunker, with the second proxy
Right.
gate in a row and all that. Very tricky stuff.
yeah, I feel like in general, Classic played the maps a lot better than Maru did. But
Well, Maru played mostly reactively.
That's
right?
the thing, right?
So that yeah,
that was my butt. But
Okay.
Maru was playing reactively.
Which makes me confused as well, because we keep talking about how good he is in preparation tournaments as opposed to weekend tournaments, and how Terran's better in preparation tournament formats rather than weekend tournament formats. But when you're going into reactive play a lot, those two things don't go together in my mind. So
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about this yet.
It's interesting to think about because if this was a TVZ, I guarantee we'd see a lot more pep from Maru on certain strategies because then you're the guy throwing the punches, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas
it's like someone is naturally the aggressor and someone's naturally the
It
defender.
feels like this is more of like either player can play the passive role and either player can play the aggressive role. It just seems that Maru is tending to play the passive role more than Classic is.
Well, I think if both players prep in that regard, unless you're proxying, the Protoss gets to play the aggressive role.
Yeah.
I think they're just more dangerous in a lot of ways early on.
Besides like the weird drop stuff that Terran tried to do to be ahead, yes, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Because there's tons of random things that Terran's like, I'm going to throw a medevac at you.
Sure.
And then I'm going to play passive.
Yeah. But, I mean,
If I
just
don't kill
I
every
think I'm just
worker.
talking kind of generally. Some of the very aggressive things Protoss does early on is like, whoa, that's going to do a lot of damage.
So-
The whole concept, though, of who gets to be the aggressor, I just want to give a quick shout-out to an article I read
Sure.
a million billion years ago by Michael Flores, a professional Magic player, called Who's the Beatdown? Best articulation of this ever. Like, changed my brain completely when thinking about this type of thing, because it's so important to know, like, who's going to play aggressive in this situation.
No, it is. It
Yeah.
really is. And the funny thing is when you think about pro matches, it's very rare to just have people have the same roles. Like 2 people being aggressive into each other is not a very common thing to happen. And 2 people being defensive into each other is also not a very common thing to happen.
Yes.
Like, it's so interesting how many games we find people are falling into these, like, I'm going to be the attacker, I'm going to be the defender, I'm going to be the defender, you're going to be the attacker roles. And it happens almost all the matchups, too. Even in ZVZ, one of the most aggressive matchups, very rarely are players just sitting back, both of them. It's either one person's massing up roaches, the other person's defending. It's just like a wave of, like, back and forth, which is very interesting.
Yeah. It is.
I have not seen that article, but it sounds like I definitely need to.
Every gamer in the whole world should read it. It's beautiful. I want to mention he scouted, right, and he saw double gas before the Nexus, and in fact the probe didn't make the Stargate, waited for the SCV to loop around, then made the Stargate.
You know what's
Yeah.
cool about this?
Hmm.
He's already seen 2 pylons. He's already
Oh,
seen 2
gosh.
pylons. So Maru's not
But he
looking
saw
at all.
that too.
Oh wait, whoa.
Right? So he's seen a lot. It's just
3 pylons.
the probe was already up here to make this, and then the SCV came up, so it just like walked away and then walked back.
Okay,
But
never
Maru
mind, yeah,
made
this
the
is fine.
bunker in this situation. Let's jump up to Maru's base real quick. So he made the bunker, and there's the Marine. So he sees,
Yeah.
once again, that it's one base. So it seems more and more like the Port Alexander game was the anomaly, because he keeps making bunkers
Yes.
against questionable things, although on Port Alexander he did not.
This game, he also built the Marine before the reactor.
Yes.
So I think it's also a given. Like, even if you're not being aggressive, because we literally had him scout the Nexus, everything was pointing to him not being necessarily full-on aggressive. If you open Marine first, you have to build a bunker. Though we did cancel it, but still, I think it's just a necessity. Honestly, I think the bunker's just good because the depths are just so strong. Almost every game I play, I build the bunker and then send the Reaper in. And I feel like that's one thing that Maru isn't doing as much as other
I thought
Terrans
for
would.
sure that's what we were going to see on that other game
Yeah, well,
on Kairos, and then he didn't do it.
Wait, he didn't build a Marine or Reaper at all this game. Or at least not yet. He built a Marine first. Huh, okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
Different
okay.
game.
Sure.
I'd like to...
Well, there's no jump up here, right? So that makes sense.
That's true. But there's none on the other map, too. But I guess you have to expect the wall off. Which I expected. Because I've got a big brain.
You've got a big brain. It's not smooth either. 2-3 wrinkles in that brain of yours.
At least. Look at this. He's scouting for a proxy even though he saw 1 million pylons.
Look at that. The fleet beacon with no flying units. I love it.
Yeah, I like the scout. Okay, so it was the SCV that scouts a Tempest just flying across.
Oh, it's so funny.
Basically, I love this too. This is so nice.
Yeah, the full wall.
He basically...
I love that his
bends it so
adepts
that-
are all outside, by the way, at the natural. This is fantastic as well. He gets 3 specifically to one-shot SCVs and Marines, because reducing that count is obviously awesome.
Yeah.
He's
just being annoying.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so good. And these are actually so useful. You know, eventually you'll get up to a nice Marine count and actually go out and be able to fight the first Tempest. With just 3 guys underneath, I don't think so.
I mean, yeah, there's also these shades are full vision. I believe he saves them and he can use them for vision later too.
Yeah. They do so much.
Yeah, they do. It's let's see.
So he has that rallied in his main. I don't remember if he sends the first one immediately or he waits.
I think he sends it immediately. I remember getting scouted.
Is it sitting there?
You broke your
It
chair?
is sitting there.
Why did you break your chair, Juan? Jesus.
You can have Jake's chair. It's fine.
No. Alright, so he's sitting here. He's just going to wait up for a couple Tempests. I like this.
Yeah, it's interesting to wait for the 2. Like
Imagine
it
this
makes more
tank is
sense.
here, by the way. Like,
Well, that would be a terrible place for
it would be a terrible place, yeah. That's true.
And notice how he has just... Okay, wait a minute. What has he scouted? Because he started the Cyclone upgrade. What has
that's
Maru
true.
seen?
He has to know
He
already.
still hasn't seen the Stargate.
Wait.
Oh, he scanned and saw Fleet Beacon. Okay, that's what it was.
So I guess he just immediately... Wait, I want to see the scan and then his reaction immediately.
Okay, there it
yeah.
is.
Literally the second he sees the Fleet Beacon, look at
That
this.
millisecond. So he knows it's a Tempest Rush at that point, because no one would ever go carriers here. Nobody
I think
ever.
that's the new meta. You should just go carriers.
Yeah, that'll really get him, won't it?
You build like 3.
They'll be locking onto your interceptors. Who cares?
Alright, let's see what we got.
Add-on complete.
I think these 2 Tempests get scouted. Maybe I'm just not remembering correctly. But, yeah. Basically...
So he moved out with that scan timing, huh? I think he was always going to move out at 2, though. It
only
seems too long to wait
difference-
longer.
Okay, I like the double bunkers too.
Hmm.
SOS was saying that if you build turrets here, also you can buy a lot of time.
Oh, that makes sense.
So he said that Maru did that wrong. He should have been building turrets immediately. Like, the bunkers are good, the turrets immediately. Buys you enough time to get a certain amount of cyclones because you need to kill the turrets.
Oh, that makes
Or,
so
like,
much
even
sense. Yeah.
So, yeah, and then he said if you get 3 cyclones and do basically what just happened, except that was 3, it would die. I think he said 3 means that even the shield batteries won't heal it quick enough.
Oh, really? Wow.
It was either 3 or 5. I can't remember. I think 5 is too many, though.
Well, the thing is, he gets 3 at one point and it still doesn't do much.
Yeah, well, I was going to debate SOS, but then I realized it's SOS.
Yeah, what can you really do against that
I
genius?
can't. I just have to stop and
He
be
just
like, "You're right."
understands things we don't.
Yeah. So, yeah, 2 turrets here would be huge, and that's literally SOS's biggest points were, like, turrets everywhere. And that buys you enough time. But, like, the fact that the Tempests are just kind of waltzing on in here and just, like, killing units is not a thing that's supposed to happen.
I love that he has gateway units, by the way. This is so
it's great.
important. He just pushes everything back so hard.
That almost dies. It's still in the front. It's got 5 HP. Okay, now it gets pulled back. Cyclone upgrade's about to finish. Yeah, it just doesn't quite have what he needs. Wait, does he have an engineering bay? No, he doesn't.
No, I guess not.
So maybe it was bunkers. This conversation happened many weeks ago, by the way, with SOS. I might have been a bunker here or something. Because maybe engineering.
No, the turrets make sense too, though. Like
Yeah.
I totally get it. That's what you do against Broodlords in StarCraft 1. You just build them to buy time.
Broodlords in StarCraft 1?
Yeah, like against those, it's like the Tempest basically. You just build a bunch
you
of
mean
turrets
Guardian?
to buy time. Yeah, Guardians, whatever, same thing.
Oh yeah, look at
There's too
that.
many different
Oh
StarCraft
my
moves.
god.
Yeah, that actually did.
SOS was right.
He was right, dude. Crazy.
Yeah, that was 2 cyclones. That wasn't even 3.
No, that was 3, wasn't it? And one of them died.
If one of them died, then yes. Look at cyclones just destroy. Yeah, he just needed more. If he had some turrets or some more bunkers. That's 3. At big brain of SOS. This is why you don't doubt him.
Well, see, there's the 3, and he one-shots with his Tempest.
Yeah,
What is the lock-on range of a Cyclone? I just want to see.
Is it
Just hover it? No, hover that thing. Oh, it doesn't say.
It's pretty long, though.
Well, I want to know how long it is, right? Because that's part of the dance here. Because
Mm-hmm.
really, if Cyclones are the right counter to this, it becomes a dance. Because air to ground is 8 on a Tempest, right?
Right.
So
it's 7?
It's 7 lock-ons. So you're actually going to take a volley no matter what then.
Right. Well, I mean, 10 is a pretty big difference.
10?
Like, it's 10 for the Tempest, so... like.
Oh, is it 10 air to ground? I thought it was 8
is
air to
it
ground.
7 and then you pull back?
Yes. The range is much longer, but
The tether range is 15. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but even if you have 4 and you kill a Tempest every time, that's a pretty big
Yeah,
deal.
yeah. I would definitely say that's like a
He just
winning
needs
proposition, but
more-
you're going to get one-shotted as soon as they have 5, right?
Yeah.
Every time. Every time you move in for lock-on, they should be able to kill
He's
one.
so close to killing 2 of them here. Like, this one's at 14 and this one's at 5. So, essentially, those 2 should be dead if some things happen differently.
Yeah.
Then it's only 3 Tempests, and the Tempests have to go a really long time across the map. Like, if he was killing Tempest after Tempest, this game is super over. Yeah. I definitely think if you knew this was coming, Maru knew this was coming earlier, and had a little bit more prep with it, there's no way he loses.
This is a one-time strategy.
It
This
really
is like, which could make it a good ladder build for sure, because you generally play people like one time.
And this is also a one-map strategy, too. I don't think you can do this on every map. Especially
Definitely not every map.
Like, you need access to this part of the army, or this base. I feel like you do, because the longer you wait, the more cyclones get up. Like, if you're not harassing this part of the army or base at all, those cyclone counts are going to go way up.
Pressure on the
also,
ramp.
you need some space close to the natural where you can build your shield batteries.
Yeah,
Not
where
every
they
map has
can't
this.
walk directly down into it.
Exactly.
Because then
Like, this cliff is big.
the fact that he has to walk down the ramp to the right and up,
Yep.
that's what makes this area really,
yeah,
really
you
powerful.
can just keep shooting. You can back up this way. You can
Yeah.
back up this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I bet you that on the ladder pool, there's a couple maps that this would work reasonably well on.
This
but
is probably
this is
the best one. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is... If anyone can talk about this, it would be special to talk about it, because he literally practiced against it. But, yeah, definitely holdable. This is not, by any means, if this was like a 2 strategy... If he did this twice in the series, the second time, I don't think it would ever do anything. Assuming that he gets the same scout, even at the same time. Like, he just needs to change a few things and be fine. Like we said, if there's another bunker or something else to buy more time, and if he had the critical mass of 5 or 3 even, before he had the one-shot ability, then you're going to kill a Cyclone every time they lock on.
Especially considering he even went up to 2 factory Cyclone here, so it seems like Maru had a very good idea of what to do, and it just didn't work out this time.
No, I agree. Well, I mean, like I said, SOS said he did practice it a couple times. It's just a different version.
Well, I'm believing it much more now going over it again.
Yeah, because as soon as he saw it, he's immediately Cyclones, which is what SOS said. And if you get 3, then you win, is also what SOS said. Whoops, my bad. But yeah, at this point, the game is already over.
Yeah. Very cool build for Classic to bring out, though.
Oh, this is the kind of stuff you should be doing in a finals against someone like Maru.
Absolutely.
And if he had one more game in this series, he would have been up, what? It would have been 3, right? Right?
Yeah, if Maru had not hit that scan on the rocks on Kairos,
Yeah, or if he
then
was
suddenly it's 3-2 or whatever.
3-2, yeah. And that year 0 game was...
No, this would be 3-1.
Yeah. Which is a totally different series.
3-1 is completely different. That's where we're like, yeah, Maru's probably not going to win that.
Yeah. Also, I think it was King's Cove. We can go over it.
King's Cove is next.
Yeah, let's go over King's Cove. Nice, you saved it.
I saved it.
He shouldn't have made a Raven swap to starport immediately to make 2 at the same time. Make another starport to make more, and just... Can you speak in a better sentence, Special? Like, I think I understand what you're saying. Like, build a second factory on that add-on? Is that what you're saying? Shouldn't have made a Raven. Make Viking. Only Viking. Do Vikings work?
SOS says...
SOS says no Vikings.
Cyclones. Special says Vikings. I don't know who to believe.
Make Viking, only Viking.
They're both right.
How many Vikings does it take to one-shot a
There's
Tempest,
probably
though?
more than one way to kill that build, to be perfectly frank. I would not be surprised if both can counter it if you just get some practice.
That's funny.
But when you're building in a build like this that he hasn't really gotten to practice against much, you've practiced it a lot.
Cyclone upgrade takes too long. Maybe.
I don't know. He started it when there was 2 Tempests already out, and
Right.
he's still...
He
had it.
He had it before you. Definitely, he could have still won.
If he even had the bunker on the side, it would have bought him so much more time, like you were talking about. That
Yeah, SOS just said... I think it was either like more bunkers or more turrets. He said build turrets. But yeah, we'll get into the final...
This is Game 5.
Game 5 of the series.
Game 5 is the really long macro game.
Nice.
Let's do it.
I remember watching this and being like, Classic could have won this game.
Oh, absolutely.
And then also being like, Battle
And this was kind of a fresh take on late game PvT.
Right.
And this was another proxy gate game. This one was right in the middle where it did some, but not that much.
Bunker Viking tank is the best answer. Okay. Interesting. SOS disagrees with you, but interesting.
Again, I bet you both can stop it.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think it's not like some sort of invincible build.
Oh, yeah, I remember this game. This is like the most insane proxy spot, by the way.
Yeah.
You would never scout this area for a proxy.
It's so close.
Yeah, but it's also like such a bad spot to proxy that nobody would scout this area. You know what I mean? Like, it's really good, but it's way too close.
I want to... Hold on. I'm sorry. I gotta do this. Okay. Ready?
How do you think Maru openers work?
Let's watch when he sees the probe.
You think it's too fast?
No.
114.
Okay, because I saw him fix it. Watch.
Is that after pylon? It should be after pylon in the main.
Okay, so watch this probe come up again.
Yeah, he fixes it. So
Yeah, he fixes its trajectory
that.
because that's always important.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's super important. The way it came up the ramp, looking at it, I just wanted to see it from Maru's point of view because this is actually an important thing to get good at. Is that straight though?
No.
That's what I was gonna say. Like he fixed it before
He was
it got
gonna
into
fix
there.
it, but it looked like he was a little bit lazy with it, honestly.
Yeah, I almost feel like right here, you got to look at that. Hey, you want to be a 5-time GSL champ and not just some forgotten 4-time GSL champ? Maybe this probe is slightly off coming off that ramp.
Was it Alt Z?
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Control. That's a perfectly straight line you just made right there.
Yep, it is. Like, yeah, but even this feels weird.
It feels just slightly. I think it should have been a little bit more in the middle.
It's close, but I don't think Maru can pick up on it immediately. Though, yeah, there's no way. If he was that good and he just like sent a SCV here and scouted, I'd just be like, you know what? Let's just switch games. Let's go play League of Legends. 'Cause there's no way we're ever gonna beat this guy.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing else to really say about that.
No.
But yeah, you're right. I think it's a little off.
It's a little bit. There's something there. All right, so his SCV just came up, and he starts the bunker.
Yeah. This seems to be a hallmark of his play.
This
Look
is
at how
hilarious,
fast
though.
this stalker is.
Yeah, it's so close.
Even a bunker immediately is not fast enough. I like it. I actually like it a lot.
All right, so he gets it up, but he lost a little bit. He lost some marine and an SCV and mining time.
Oh, this is good. This is really good by Classic.
Yeah.
And it was also really good by Maru. He didn't lose very much. He got the bunker up immediately. Like, he's even saturating the base. Like, he's so not scared of this. Is there any world where you just go, like, 4 gates and just, like, warp in?
4 gates?
Like a proper just 4 gate off one base.
Gosh.
Like,
you're rabid.
Because he's building all these add-ons, right? He's going to build the reactor after this.
The thing is, if you even hold your ramp.
Warp gate is
right.
Warp gate is 79. If you chrono this, it can finish the next maybe 5 to 10 seconds.
And your gates would all be done in that time.
Jump on one tank immediately before if you.
The tank's not out before it hits. I mean, I guess
you could have had his warp gate now, by I think.
If he nailed his chronos, he did have to get rid of the SCV.
That'd be so insane, guys. Come on.
The thing is, if the Reaper squeezes out, then you insta lose, right?
That's true.
So, counting on the Reaper not squeezing out.
Did he even build a Reaper? Oh yeah, he did.
Look, this is why we should all be sad that Myung-Shik retired, because he would have done that, 100%.
Or we should be sad that Haas isn't a GSL finalist.
Yeah.
Though if you're Haas, you don't just build 3 Marines.
There'd be a Robo right next to this and 2 shield batteries.
Yeah, and a Stargate too somehow. In the main base too, not even the proxy. There'd also be a Dark Shrine.
Yeah, in opposite corners of the map.
And a mothership. Why not? When does it? Oh, it's a Cyclone first. If it was a Cyclone first and you go 4 gate, this game is actually just over. He just 1 force field and you kill the bunker.
Okay, so this game I felt like was a great usage of Phoenixes, because I'm such a Phoenix hater against Maru.
Yeah, you are.
It's like almost preposterous how much I think they're bad against him. But this game, Classic does a really fantastic job.
Yeah, I like Phoenixes against Maru. So.
I know you do. It's okay. We'll change your mind one day. So look at this. I mean, this is some good harassment. He kept decent pressure on so far this game. So he's seen the Phoenixes already. Should be seeing that 3rd CC add-on really quick.
How do these Phoenixes live like this, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy.
That was insane. Like, he had 2 Vikings. He had 2 Cyclones. He had a bunker. And he had this many Marines. And they flew all around all of them and didn't die. Like, if this was me, all these Phoenixes would be dead. And I'd just GG. But, yeah, Classic is not...
well, I mean, that's why you're a Kodos Zerg, not a Kodos Protoss.
Exactly.
Okay, so he made a lot of Phoenixes here. But do notice that once he left the main base, the 3rd CC started in advance of the 3rd Nexus. So I think I think this is such a cool hallmark of the play. Again, like, remember that Phoenixes don't shoot down.
Right.
So things like expanding against them is really strong. Remember when Phoenix vs. Phoenix was the PvP of the day or of the months?
You just sneak in a Nexus.
Well, you'd make Nexuses. You'd be like more Stargates, more Nexuses, some cannons here and there, and it was just silly because they can't kill buildings or anything. So you can just expand at will.
And then people just started mixing in a mothership. And they're just like, wow, my Phoenixes are cloaked.
Yeah.
And once the other person does it too, and you're like, well, now my Phoenixes are cloaked. And then there's just like a complete clusterfuck to see who's the better Phoenix player.
A gross matchup. And it wasn't who's the best, who's the luckiest. But look, even once upon a time for Zerg, it was like you saw Phoenixes and you went Patrick.
This is the fastest +2 of life.
Yeah.
Considering what happened earlier, you know? This is a fastest storm of life too. Classic still respecting the fact that Maru could push him, but at the same time not going too crazy about it. Even though I think Maru is pretty much dead set on playing the macro game.
Oh, yeah. It's
Again,
pretty clear there.
Pretty much doing the same thing he did, was it game number 2? Where he just kind of walls off and then said, like, this is going to be a wall
But he didn't take 9 SCV losses at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
And then, like, 8 more to the Phoenix's fine. He took some. He definitely took some losses. But
the armory timing again.
The later that you get him.
Does.
Yeah, it looks like he might have missed it just barely.
That was cute. The hallucinated warp prisms were pretty funny.
Yeah.
4th command
CC,
center.
yeah.
So like, look at this. It's
very turtle. But maybe you were right about the armory being delayed on game 2 on purpose.
Yeah.
It feels weird to me.
It's almost identical timing, I would say.
Yeah. It's very similar. Very similar.
It's interesting.
Oh, by the way, this is something I loved that I saw. See the additional turret? Remember when we were going over Need versus Maru? And we were talking about this is one small thing that he could improve is having an additional turret here against Speed Prism.
Yeah.
Because if there's only 2 turrets here total, like if there is...
There you go.
Because we had this, if you look at episode 1, I think it was, where we went over Need versus Maru. If you have this one and this one, Speed Prism comes right in.
Yeah.
You have this one as well. It gets very iffy to get anything in here. You're going to have to do like 2 Speed Prism type things.
The funny thing was, I actually casted GSL. I think it was Deer.
Yeah.
Deer just like, this is identical, by the way. 3 turrets, exact same spot.
Yep.
Deer just comes in here and storms all of these.
I saw that. That was crazy.
And I was like, this is hilarious because, there's 3 turrets here. It's just that Deer just kind of negates that and goes out after killing, I think it was 12 workers.
Well, this is the to and fro of StarCraft, right? You can't do a full turret ring, but you must block some things. You can't block nothing.
Right.
You gotta make it a little bit easier on yourself.
I actually tried to play like this, by the way. It's so hard. Like, Maru makes it look so much easier than it actually is. Like, not only is it hard to survive, but it's hard to just keep them from taking a million bases and, like, just running with the game, which is kind of what Classic is doing, by the way. Like, it feels like Classic is 4 base. Classic's upgrades are good. He's got enough storms. Yeah. He basically is doing the exact same thing to game number, what was it, 2?
Yeah,
except he's not going for the throat, right? Basically, the only difference. This army is almost identical, by the way. Look, it's the exact same amount of Templar.
Yep.
I think he
has the prism at the bottom of the map.
Okay, so he's probably
he actually has a second one somewhere.
He's probably already decided that he's not going to go for the throat this game. He's going to basically do exactly the same thing, literally to the T, by the way.
Well,
the upgrades are the same.
This is almost the moment where he hit Maru exactly, right? Yeah. But Maru's up 30 supply more. That's the difference of killing 9 SCVs at the beginning of the game, guys.
Look at how even they are. 97 supply to 90.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't go for the throat this game.
You can't. You'll get wrecked.
Yeah. The difference in, like, because remember when I was pointing out how close the army supplies were, even though everything happened, it was kind of like weird to see the army be so close and have such a decisive fight. And there's 0% chance this would have happened the same way. He would have just died here. Yeah. All right, let's play.
It's beautifully defended.
Beautifully.
And this map as well is just very good at turtle and 3 bases. Let's go to production tab. So he's going up into the Tempest now. I thought that this was really interesting as well because we have gone over several games now where it's like Colossus play into late game. But to see this, where it goes into just Tempest without Colossus, for a while I was commentating this, I was like, isn't this just going to be weaker? But the way he does it is actually really good. Like, I was very impressed with his execution, but he kept almost too much supply together, but he might have needed it because Tempests are high supply and you need so many.
These boys are the most important boys of life, right?
They are.
Like, even if you get EMP'd, if you have Colossi, you have that pushing force to not just have everything jump on you. If these get EMP'd, you lose the game.
Yes.
That's the difference. So Classic is probably extremely confident in his Prism abilities. He's probably going to pick, look at these 2 Prisms.
He is really good at it.
He's going to pick up these 4, and then he knows that he's not going to get EMP'd, because that's really important. Even this is just unbreakable. Like,
it's so crazy looking.
Over here, obviously.
Look at all of his sensor towers. See how many sensor towers he has? He's got a Venn diagram going on.
He's got 3. Look at this fucking intersection point.
It's ridiculous.
I think Classic does go for a premature push at some point and loses a big portion of his army for no real reason, it felt.
Yeah, he gets pretty aggressive pretty quickly. But he's maxed out, so it kind of makes sense too.
Yeah.
Now, the portion of this game, because for a while here, it really looks like Classic's going to win it. But then Maru starts to actually hit other places on the map, because Classic literally keeps his entire army supply here.
Yeah.
For like the whole game, basically.
Yep. This is what kills him.
Yeah. So this initial push.
What the fuck?
Wait, no, this is not the one that really does a ton, I don't think.
I know, but at some point, I remember saying, like, if there was a pylon here, this game wouldn't have been nearly the way it happened, because there was a drop that came in and literally killed everything because he was maxed and he couldn't warp in. If this is the push that kills him, I'm going to be extremely disappointed.
Because he has that other base when it comes. I know exactly which thing you're talking about. It looks like this. It's a very similar force.
Does he recall?
He must. Wait.
Oh,
really?
This is actually the push. This is the most mismanaged game I've ever seen by Classic. He literally revelated the army coming out. At some point, he saw it move out.
Where'd the recall go?
The 4th. To the right. This one.
Oh, that's where he recalled. Okay. So that's the recall right there. He didn't have the energy on this Nexus. Yeah, he didn't.
This is a big.
But
big
this was
up.
super weird because he had it revelated as it was walking out. So I don't know what he was looking at. We should actually find what he was looking at.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's revelated right now.
Yep.
Let's look at Classic Vision. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Sees the Marine Marauder kind of leaving.
So it's going to the north. He is focusing so heavily on this push right now. You know what? I know what's happening. So when you're doing dances like this with High Templar and Tempest, the amount that you're staring at the Vikings is insane.
Right.
And the Vikings are at the top right of the screen. The mini-map's at the bottom left.
Yep.
Look at that. He still has them revelated. They're still revelated. Look at this. He just looked at his Oracle to come in and revelate again so that he can continue this push.
Yeah.
So he is so into this push right now that he missed the bio leaving.
I know exactly what you're saying. Do you think that if these positions were reversed completely, that say the Vikings are here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing the same dance.
Yep.
It's much closer to the mini.
It is more likely that he will see it for sure. It is. Yes.
That's insane to even think about, right?
Yes.
I've never thought about something like this, but I think at the same time it makes a lot more sense that when cause if we had an eye tracker, the way what you're looking at is kind of all in focus a bit more. If you're looking at the left side of the screen, you can see more of the minimap than at the right. It's just so far away.
It's such a funny concept, and actually, Brood War now has widescreen, but many of the very top pros keep it on 4x3, and I feel like that's part of the reason. Like, you can see the minimap more easily. Thing is, in StarCraft 2, I don't think that you should necessarily play in 4x3 because you have so many hotkeys. Like, screen scroll doesn't matter as much, but yeah, this is kind of an unfortunate thing. Like, I can really tell because I've been in so many of these stupid late game battles with Tempest and High Templars, and the amount you're focusing on that army. Like, this is the game deciding thing. Like you said, if that EMP comes off or something, you can just lose the game. So you're really paying attention.
I don't even think Maru planned on this doing much because it was literally revelated when he sent it out. I think this is the army to throw away. Like, if you look at it, it's almost all Marines. There's 5 Marauders and all Marines here. This is just a sacrifice. Like, he doesn't necessarily want this. He wants to trade for something.
Yeah.
But he's left all his extremely expensive. What is he producing? Ghosts, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing in.
Look his late game doesn't have that much bio in it.
Look at that. It's completely nothing. He's not building anything out of that because those units are shit. So he's just, he's literally just using his tech labs. And these are all going to be killed.
Yeah,
so
this is brutal.
It just kind of happens that this does way more than it should. Like, it was never intended to do so much. It was literally revelated when it moved out. And this was a proper turning point for the game to start going in Maru's favor.
He just used a chrono there. He used a chrono on this Nexus a millisecond before that pylon was attacked.
This is
and
very,
the thing
very
is,
unfortunate.
see Hotkey 9? He's just got all his Nexuses. This is a very common thing where you just, like, nail your hotkey and use a chrono.
How does it decide which one
I believe it's the closest one, so it's something over here maybe? It's that? So the main already has it used up. I guarantee you he just probably...
this
I can't
one has
guarantee.
It used up too.
But the closest to these is that Nexus.
Okay. That's so unfortunate.
How unfortunate indeed.
Yeah, like this one has all the energy.
That one's so far away, so that's going to be the one that has the energy.
Oh my god. These are such the little intricate things that lose you at GSL finals. Oh my god. Could you imagine losing at GSL finals because you chrono something 2 seconds before an army shows up?
Oh.
This also... Oh my gosh.
StarCraft's crazy,
My brain is melting.
Oh my god.
I feel so much worse for Classic. These going over these, I feel so much empathy towards him now. Like,
no, the more I'm watching this, the worse I feel for Classic.
I remember watching this and just being like, how does this even happen?
Oh. God.
Yeah. Yep.
This is so painful.
Look at all these pylons going down. This is the tedious shit you should not be dealing with if you're Classic, right?
Yeah.
Like, Classic wants... what Classic wants right now? Well, let me get rid of this. Is he wants to be here. He still wants to be here.
He needs to be whittling that down.
Yeah.
Maru is getting exactly what he wants at home during all this.
Yeah, Maru is just sitting back. He's like, what?
This was the most successful walk across the map with a revelated army that I have ever seen.
And it was such a shitty army, too. It was like 30 Marines and nothing else. Like, if you had a Colossus, such a straight Colossus sitting here, you know, we could probably swipe down almost all those Marines.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, this is very unfortunate. Even now, like, it's just killing so much more than it should. I think even Maru knows, like, what the fuck. He basically hit the jackpot. Because there's no way Maru was expecting to do any damage.
No, not like that.
He
was going to draw the army away,
that's what
trade a little bit.
Yep.
In the meantime,
Kill some
refill his
zealots and
supply with Vikings and Liberators and Ghosts. That's what he was actually trying to do that for. My God. Yeah, get out of here, prisons.
Let's. Is he going to get it?
Matters a lot. Keep watching. Oh.
Almost.
So now he's got such a better army. But this push overall I still find so interesting because it's like missing so many pieces that we're used to with pushes like this.
Especially when we dissected Neve versus...
yeah.
Actually, was it Maru versus Deer? Someone had a very similar army to this. I think it was Deer. Deer was way more aggressive. Same map, by the way. Remember there was a planetary here, and we had constant DTs going down this lane. And I remember making a League of Legends joke because it was just like we had our lanes.
Yeah.
And I think it was Deer, and it was me and Tasteless commentated it.
No, but Maru was bottom right on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maru's
Oh, you said there was a planetary up in the top left, though.
No, here.
Oh, okay,
like
okay.
A planetary here.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah,
and
yeah,
there was a turret here, and he kept blinking past, like, constantly, just DTs, like, constantly flowing.
Yes, you're right. It was like DT Zealot he was using
and this was identical army. No Colossi, just Templar. Same thing. Everything is exactly the same, except there's way more cannons here, because Deer actually loses the space. Deer won that game, by the way.
Yes, he did.
I think that was it 1-4 anyways? That was the only game Deer won?
It was the one game he won. It was 3-1.
And it's just an identical situation here, except, you know, it doesn't go as well for Classic. Though Classic did lose the space, I'm pretty sure it's not that bad. Like, he's still in an okay spot. He's got 1,000, 1,400.
Yeah, this is not unwinnable.
He's getting DT Blink, so he's doing literally the same thing that Deer did.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting to see this game kind of...
I didn't remember that he had no Colossus in that game because I definitely watched that game to prep.
He either lost them. I can't remember if he built them and then lost them.
I feel like he made them. He's a very Colossus guy.
He might have made them, but it was not a part of the composition at the end of the game.
Sure, that definitely
At the end of the
happen.
game, I remember there was Templar. It was just a Templar Tempest kind of like back and forth with DT run-bys for days.
Yeah, there was so much of that.
Literally forever.
It's still going on.
I love this, by the way.
Yeah, it's so good.
I really, really wish more Protoss players would do this kind of shit because it's just so annoying to get your Vikings in range of, like, this is when you have to start nuking.
It's not just that. It's the Ghosts as well because observers can get a little bit annoying here also.
Yeah, you just always...
They're just very useful.
Yeah. It's not supplied. It's actually DPS. It's just nice.
Good use of minerals.
Is that another hit squad?
Yep. It's going to do just as much.
Needs more DTs.
Yeah, those EMPs are so frightening. So he's maxed out right now. The hit squad's going to be hitting in a second. I want to check where all of his army is right before this hits. So he's got some cannons up, which is great. But for units, he's got a few High Templars that look brand new right there. Those are not even at Storm Energy. And that's it. The entire rest of his 200 supply is down at the army.
Look at Maru's rally point. He just 8 clicks here, 8 clicks here.
Oh, that's funny.
In what world he's just like, oh yeah, kill this base, kill this base. What is this?
He's not going to make cannons.
He saw the first push went so well. He's like, oh, okay, I got 2 bases at least with this army.
That's funny. He looks at it. He's like, nah, he's probably on 70 probes. Yep, this is his entire army down here. Let's go. Like, okay.
Yep. He's just like, that's 200, minus 4 Templars at the 4th or the 3rd, the natural, whatever. He's like, I know there's nothing here, but I don't think this does nearly as much. There's a lot of cannons.
Just kill the pylon. So easy.
If there was a second pylon here, he would have been totally fine.
Yeah.
Because he could have warped
in. Very true.
Although he is maxed.
This was a weird attack.
Upgrade.
If he had hit the storms earlier,
I like it.
Oh, he actually does end up killing it. Never mind.
That's really good.
That was good. I thought he was going to save that.
He actually saves the space too. Everything. I feel like everything at this point it's Classic's game right now. Like, this whole posture has been going really well. The trades have been really good. There's not a very high Viking count, is there? What is it?
18?
Okay,
I'd
never
say
mind.
that's
It's
pretty
extremely
high.
Never mind. I take that back.
Do you think
I meant to
18
say
is a
that's
low amount of
extremely high.
Vikings? That's really
I meant
weird.
to say it was extremely high. Okay. So yeah, he has an extremely high Viking count. Is what I was saying. So this is Classics game. No. 9 libs. I mean,
Well, his anti-air here is the cannons and a few High Templars. There's very few stalkers.
do you remember Patience versus Fantasy?
Mm-hmm.
It was
How
kind
could I
of
forget?
this was kind of what happened with Patience versus Fantasy. Very similar army compositions, except obviously Fantasy is not Maru. Yeah, it's just Maru has a slightly better ground defense, but not insanely better. Like DTs could still do insane amount of
Yeah, but
damage. I
he's-
feel like that's the one thing we haven't seen enough of
Thing is-
compared to Deer. Deer was just like throwing them at Maru. Like he was throwing 15 DTs away constantly, and he was doing tons of damage with it.
Yeah.
Like even if you like,
He was getting
what does
in
Maru
everywhere.
have right now? If you're flying DTs in here, like he has to send his ghosts. He has to.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the biggest thing, though. If the ghosts aren't in this army, this is the whole point of the build. I think the ghosts aren't in the army. He can pick away at the Vikings forever.
You're
Pick away
making
at
me
all this
want to
stuff.
go get that replay. Deer
Yep.
versus Maru.
We should.
Yeah, we should.
But I think I said. Did I put it down on the list? Maybe not.
I don't know. We'll see. I'll try to get it.
Yeah. So Deer versus Maru. We saw tons of blinks. Tons of times the ghost went back and had to EMP. He EMP'd the DTs. He was scanning. He was looking here. This is the biggest thing. He's spending his mentality or his mental abilities here, while simultaneously it's much easier to just blink DTs and let them do their thing, while microing this around and just taking bases too.
Yeah, I love it.
He was just taking bases.
It's a
all
very
over.
good point. Like, attention is a resource. We've already been
Yes.
talking about that some. And it's when you get up to this level, oftentimes that's the most important resource. These guys collect minerals and gas in their sleep.
Yeah.
But your attention is finite. Like,
Yep.
it is very tough. And set it and forget it harassment of any type. It's very easy to shift click a blink DT in or
Yep.
just shift click your zealots into an area that are just, you know, it's going to be annoying to deal with. They don't have to be cost efficient.
Right.
Because you're going to be cost efficient over here with your Tempest.
Yep. The funny thing was, Maru, in response to the DT waves, started building planetaries like crazy, turrets. He was like spending so much not getting DT, and the DTs didn't care. They just kept blinking past the planetary. I think at one point they just killed the planetary. Like, DTs are so good. It's so interesting to see Blink DT actually evolve into more of a late game harass thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, when I expected, I was like, this is the most gimmicky shit ever. Like, it's never going to be used intelligently. It's just gimmicks. And
Yeah.
I feel like I was
Well, for
proven
early
wrong.
game, we've seen it used twice intelligently. And other than that, yeah,
And
it's
then we
only
never
been
saw
late
it again
game.
either.
That's
Like,
true. That's very true.
Also, is there any point in having the sentries here? At this
I think
point?
you should have one. Hallucination can be okay if you do a full battle, but you definitely need a Guardian Shield.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you need it for. So, yeah, that's a little bit of wasted supply.
How many hotkeys does he have? He's got his Tempest, his Templar, and his Sentry. Stalkers. on
He's
the
got
same hotkey.
4
I like
macro hotkeys.
it. I like it.
Yeah.
Do you think, I guarantee you, this is rebound to something else? There's no way he hits 9
Oh, no.
for...
Of course. Of course.
Yeah, so this is probably like Q or something like
Yeah, yeah.
Tilda or just
Something
random,
super easy.
random hockey.
No one actually uses numbers way up to there unless you play StarCraft 1.
It's so cool
silly.
that people can do that.
Yeah.
Like in theory, I think you can even have more than 10. Or actually, I think you can just rebind the 0. Zero hockey?
Yeah, zero's a hockey.
Yeah, you can rebind those to
Yeah.
other keys. Like you can rebind them to Q or whatever you want.
Yeah. That's what I did. Q and W are hotkeys instead of 9 and 0.
Yes, Juan did the same thing. Yeah, so far I feel like Classic's in a great spot. He just needs to be more harassy. He needs to do more
Yeah,
tier.
it's such a good point that you bring up, and now I really wish that we had gotten that replay for this analysis as well, because like this push is so scary. He's got 13 Tempests, plus he's keeping his High Templars out of ghost range the entire time. This is wonderful dancing, and he's using almost the entirety of his attention on this, right? Like he's got other bases and he's got a mining, right? Not perfectly for sure, as we see, but the way that Deer did it, maybe he paid a little bit less attention to the actual push, but did little bits of attention where it's like Deer is going to take him, let's say, 5 seconds total.
Yep.
And that's actually a lot. I bet you took less than 5.
Yeah.
Warp in some units, shift click him to where he wants him to go, right? build another Nexus as well. He had more bases, if I recall. Like,
Yeah.
I think Deer took here. I can't remember if he took here.
He was just
Anyways, he expanded a little bit more quickly, whereas Classic's overall push is unbelievably scary. It's just he's not doing anything else with it, and that
Right.
includes defending. He's not defending well.
Yeah.
He's not setting up defensive things. He's not setting up harassments. He's only doing this one thing.
Yeah, that's the problem too. So like Deer, when Deer was doing this, not only could Maru was losing production, Ghosts were in the main. As soon as Deer saw Ghosts killing DTs, he went in every time.
Mm-hmm.
He went in, he was just like, I'm going for it.
Yeah,
Templar would go all the way up to the ring's edge. Because that's the only thing. The tanks and the rings,
Yeah.
those are the only things that are stopping you now, right?
And that's scary. That's
Yeah.
like those videos of the guys walking on the edge of the building and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, no, they're right there.
Yeah, those I know exactly what buildings you're talking about. Yeah, they just walk straight up and storm the Vikings every time they went forward. He would just keep warping in DTs and keep sending them. Every time the ghosts came back here, he'd send the DTs in again.
Yeah.
Like clockwork. Every time the ghosts were back, he's like, oh, ghosts are back, DTs go in.
Well, even in theory, this is such beautiful play that you're describing right here.
Yeah.
And that plus having the more bases, whereas this game is turned on its head from that, where Maru is actually the one who's sending out these small harassment forces like we just saw there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's doing that. And then he's kind of reacting to what Classic is doing down here. And really the reason why Maru ends up winning this game are these small harassments, are these little things that he's doing to Classic, whereas Deer did those to Maru in the
Right.
game that they played on this map.
Yeah, Deer played a masterful game. I honestly felt like that was one of the best PvTs I've watched.
I got to rewatch it now. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I remember watching that because I have got lucky and was able to cast that.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing. So this is kind of
Okay, finally,
this is
here
kind
we
of
go.
what Deer was doing, but this is like terrible. Like this is all DTs if it's Deer, right?
Well, no, Deer use Zealots too. Oh,
Look at
he's
this.
ready.
He's already ready.
Yeah.
Maybe he's traumatized from Deer.
Okay, so let's see if at this exact okay, hold on. Let's jump back. Let's jump back. We got to check something here.
How did he know that why was his ghost there?
Hold on.
Wait, who are we watching? Classic?
We're watching Classic. Okay. Because I want to see how he does this. Okay, so he has those DTs there.
His DTs
He's
right
sending
here.
DTs in.
Oh, this is cool.
Yeah, hold on. Okay. He's sending those in. All right, deal with that.
He's
Okay,
so
harassment. Oops, dropped in Immortal. That's weird. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so he sends those up. Okay, sends them back. Okay,
Look,
trying
look
to hit.
at him. He went in immediately when he saw the ghost there, by the way.
Yeah.
He wanted to. He wanted to do it, but he couldn't.
I'm surprised he didn't, though.
Well,
Why didn't he?
I think he just doesn't have... I didn't think he had his entire army there. Like, he needs a Templar.
It seems like he's,
Also, what the
he's
fuck? There's two
floundering
prisms
slightly
sitting
right
there.
here.
Yeah. He's being indecisive.
Yeah. Like, there's the attack hitting him, and he's not clearing it very well.
To be fair, we're talking, like... If this was, like, Alpha Star or something, you know, like, these actions are intense. Wonder what the APM actually is. 358 average, so it's not insane, but, you know, that's a lot. Double observer. Observer speed. Is that observer speed or warp rhythm speed?
That's observer speed.
Nice.
So look at that, Maru taking this opportunity to move up and clear out that Zealot stuff.
He built a tank. Or he moved
And now,
his tank forward.
Classic, okay, so this was so much indecisivity that we just saw, right?
Yep.
Like that little harass coming up, he floundered this attack that he could have made when he saw the ghosts over here.
Which he
and
wanted
then he moved
to do,
his,
by the way. He
yeah,
wanted to.
You could
saw
see
him want to do it.
He was setting up a beautiful situation for himself, and then he didn't do it. And he started to pull this back, and it never even went all the way back.
Yeah.
Because, of course, he was going to clear 3 units that were in the red.
Mm.
But it seems like maybe pressure got to him or something. Like,
You know,
I don't want to get too
what I would've
critical
loved
of
to see-
his mindset, but this was indecisive.
I would have loved to see him just pull these probes and just attack this. Continue doing this.
Yeah.
Once these probes die, warp in like 5-6 zealots or whatever it is.
Sure.
And then just rebuild the probes.
He's got 2.5K.
One,
He's fine.
2, 3, 4, 5. He could almost build all those probes in one round. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he wanted them, even I don't think he needs. He does. Okay. Anything.
Still.
He just needs to. Any inch. Every replay I watch where Maru has an inch of time to just do whatever the fuck he wants, he kills you.
If you
Like,
give Maru
look
an inch, he's going to want a
what's going
GSL
on.
title. It's a children's book. I know it.
Look at this shit. You walk away for a second, he's got 3 battlecruisers on the way.
Yeah.
You know. I think actually Classic might have watched the Deer and tried to emulate it, but
Yeah.
it's just not the same crispness that Deer. Deer was so decisive. Deer was commanding at all points in the game. Every time Maru was faltering in any way, Deer was on top of it. I would actually love to. When we get the replay, we'll go over that replay specifically and just an offshoot
Yeah.
about what he did
Yeah.
better than Classic, because it's very.
Well, I
interesting
want
to
to
look
I
at it.
want to definitely do that because it's super exciting to me because I love how Classic did this in so many ways, but there's these small things that we're seeing like this moment of indecisivity,
Oh my god.
and it's costing the game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, certainly.
And now he's back, but now all of his cannons are gone, all his shield batteries are gone.
And it's also probably comes from a certain amount of games played. Like, who knows how many games have even gone to this portion of the game on ladder? You know, this is something you need to practice with people. It's hard to find people that are able to do what Maru's doing.
It's very true. So most people are really terrible at the late game. You don't get there that often in normal practice.
How the fuck did these even get here?
Yeah. It's Maru. Well, at this point, it just becomes BC's starting to wreck everything.
Yeah. Once Classic is on this side of the map,
Yeah.
he's basically conceded. Like, I don't actually think the longer the game goes, I don't necessarily say that this army composition beats everything Terran has.
Yeah.
Like, it had its moments here where it could have done more than it did.
It's a pushing comp.
Yeah. Like, once he gives Maru the ability to attack multiple places, this army's too slow.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go from here to here to defend all your bases. It's just not going to happen.
It's like you need Maru to commit most of his army to stopping most of your army.
Yeah.
And then you need to keep a little bits of your army to stop the little bits of his army he sends off.
And look, like, this is the coolest part too,
Mhm.
because he starts building these battlecruisers. He can send the battlecruisers to certain points in the base. You go react to it, he teleports out.
Yeah.
And he's already over here or whatever, right? Like, you almost need to send your entire Tempest fleet to deal with these battlecruisers because there's just no AA.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do? Send 5? Like, those are gonna get Yamato.
Yeah. The Yamato makes it very tough.
How many does it take to one shot? Is it 7?
2? Oh. 7. Tempest?
To shoot a one
I
shot?
don't know the exact
You
amount
basically
right now.
have to send that number to deal with these minimum. So if it's 7,
And that's just too much supply. You can't spare
yeah,
that.
It's huge. These battlecruisers catch him completely off guard, by the way.
Well, this is the last thing you expect to see in GSL finals is BCs fly into your base and get you. Especially when you've been playing a nice game.
Yeah. At this point, Classic probably still feels like he's got a lot of control in the game, up until the battlecruisers come.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to even make the choice about what to do.
At this point, it's like, do I recall and lose all my momentum here, or do I not and lose all my economy at home?
Yeah.
I think at some point he does decide to recall. Or maybe he doesn't, I don't remember. Man, what a treat that we get to watch a first-person view
I
of
know,
Classic
right?
in the GSL finals. But at this point, it feels really bad. Like, all your choices from this point on are bad momentum choices.
Yeah.
You lose your momentum no matter what. You go home, you lose your momentum. You stay here, you lose your momentum. Like, the PVT matchup, this is the one thing Deer did so well. He hammered all of his momentum constantly. Like, every inch he had, he took it. And he just did so well with just keeping Maru on the back foot. There was no room for Maru to do what he wanted to do. And this is what happens when he does have that room. Like, where did he blink to? Did he blink home? Or did he blink?
I think he blinked home.
He just... There's 3 more battlecruisers. Where did they blink to? Oh, there they are.
Where?
In the third, right there.
Oh, yeah, they're there. Okay. Okay, so
Even that blink was a little, like, fast because he could have Yamato.
I feel like
but yeah.
Classic was put into a lot of weird situations here. And again, this was an indecisive play with the Tempest where the Yamato, they were up here. I think you have to instantly decide if you're recalling
or just
or you're going for it. And he's like, I'm going for it. And he killed like a command center. And then Vikings came over. He's like, oh, I can't fight those. And then he went home.
Yeah.
But it was kind of a slow decision. So he lost 2 bases and some of the probes from this base. And then did like chip damage to 1 battlecruiser. And they launched home. And now he's got these. And it's like, yeah, you have like now 70 seconds before the BCs do that again, or whatever
point,
it is.
If you're in the seat of Classic, you already know it's not going your way anymore. Like, your plan's not like playing out anymore. Once you get flung off the plan, it's so much harder to play the game. Like, when you're on a path that you know and you're very familiar with, it's kind of like walking down a street that you know, and then when you turn left randomly, you're just like, whoa, where am I now?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it's like to play a game that's kind of thrown off of your
Because this
path.
isn't a normal late game composition for this matchup, to be honest.
No,
like,
it isn't.
maybe it will become so because I think overall the strategy has a lot of merit to it. Like, I really was excited to see Classic do this, but
I think on this map too, it's hard for the Protoss to do this because look at how far these two bases are. When you look at year 0, when it's those 4 bases, they're so much closer than this.
that is true.
And like you take this base, it's even further. Like we have insane distance between these two bases. And Maru is just kind of taking all the bases in the same clump, which perhaps Classic should have done, but he didn't. So, yeah, it's interesting to see this play out. I don't think Deer was aggressive enough, or Classic was aggressive enough.
Yeah, it definitely does feel that way, and just the
And at this point, it's already kind of dead.
the economy of attention. I've heard time. Yeah, no, this game is super over already. The writing is very much on the wall. He's not even maxed out at this point.
Like even now, it feels like his army's moving around without any real.
Yeah, what's the plan with this attack?
Intent.
He's like, now this angle, 22 minutes in.
Yeah, there's the battlecruisers jump on it.
And, I mean, we know how that ends. It's the BCs end up killing absolutely everything at 3-3. Ridiculous.
These Vikings too.
Yeah.
What army even beats this at this point, you know?
Well, it's one of those silly moments where you say you're not supposed to let them get to this composition.
No, it's true. It's true.
It's like
this army is very
the
scary.
Supermass BC is probably one of the strongest things in the game. I guess Zerg can screw with it, but Protoss,
It's hard
no.
even with Zerg. The one thing is, imagine you couldn't Yamato and then teleport. Like the thing is, you can queue it up, right? Like
Yeah,
you hit Y, Shift, T, click. Yamato goes off. They immediately teleport afterwards. If you couldn't do that, I think battlecruisers would have a huge nerf.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you couldn't shift queue teleports, because the thing is, they all go off at a different time, right, guys? So when you go for the Yamatos, they don't all go off at the same time. Like this one's gonna go off later than this one, so you can't just teleport them all at the same time.
Yeah.
If you did that with T, this one would teleport immediately, and this one would teleport in like 5 to 10 seconds. So that's the thing with how strong it is to do that, because they all go off at different times. They all teleport off at different times. If you couldn't do that, you would just be teleporting battlecruisers randomly. Half of them would go off, half of them wouldn't. It would just be a clusterfuck it would be a huge nerf.
Yeah, I think BCs actually right now are in a pretty good spot, though.
They're
we see
very
them.
strong.
We actually see them in both against Zerg and against Protoss
Against
recently.
Zerg. Okay, we'll do that.
We'll do that in a different day.
Different episode.
That's definitely the
because
strategy I want to
it's
go over
a
too.
long talk. Too.
Yeah,
It's very complex.
yeah.
Okay, we're done with this.
I think we're good with that game. Yeah. Which brings us to the last game. I swear to God, as we're going over these games, I'm gaining such a. I already appreciate Classic so much. I already thought he was the best PvT basically in the world, maybe with Deer. I've been really tooting Deer's horn lately.
Yeah.
Glad to hear you're kind of on that boat, but to see these games and really go over what's going on, be like, oh my God, Classic at this point after this game, just slightly different things happening. 4-1 right now against Maru.
Right.
What a different world we would
it's a
live
very
in.
Different world, yeah. I think
Oh my
that game
God.
specifically, there was almost like he'd have to play drastically differently, right? Like he would need to do those DT run bys constantly. He would have to have different momentum. But like the other games where it's just like there were such small things he could have done. If he saw that army move out, it would have been like 4 whatever.
The scan on the
3-1.
rocks. My God.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
He's such a solid player. It'd actually be really interesting to dissect him playing other people, because
Yeah.
obviously Maru is just insane too. But like Classic is just such a solid rock against certain people too. Like if you're Dark, you don't have a chance. Or if you're, you know, any
you
of
say
these
that,
people.
but for years, if you were Classic, you didn't have a chance against Dark.
Yeah. I wonder. Classic is one of the most OG veterans of StarCraft 2 that
Yeah.
there are.
Yeah.
I wonder if his age and his like what he does like as a player has evolved like over all these years to kind of be where he is now.
Well,
like for example, Maru is what, 21. He kind of has the same amount of time under his belt for StarCraft 2, but his age is just different.
Okay, well, so they have the same amount of time under their. Well, Maru
For
has a
StarCraft
longer
2.
for StarCraft 2 because Classic came a little bit later.
Sure.
But I do want to mention, I used to mention this a lot with Classic. I just haven't said it in a while, but so he was a StarCraft 1 pro, and he was originally considered someone with a lot of potential. He was. We used to have an actual draft in StarCraft 1 for the pro teams, and he was the #1 draft pick.
It's fucking cool.
Literally,
that existed.
yeah, no, and it mattered. Like, who got the #1 draft pick? That was like big talk, right?
Yeah, man.
Because it's like,
This was
okay,
like hockey. That guy would be
yeah.
getting like a $20 million salary.
the
Like,
weakest. It's so funny you bring up hockey. Oh my God, you're so Canadian. But the weakest team, right, gets that first draft pick. That's so important because they need
That's
a
so
strong
cool.
new player, and
Yeah.
it was Classic, who by the way was a Terran player in StarCraft 1. But yeah, it's an interesting thing because you really see him. He's filled out over the years in StarCraft 2 where he should be, and he's won tons of championships. 2 Super Tournaments, GSL, SSL, IEM. He's gotten 2 BlizzCon top 4s. Here he is, second place in this GSL. And really, I mean, he could have won this.
He could have won.
He didn't win,
Yeah.
and that's fine, and that's what happened.
I have big hopes for him this season. Like, he's just so strong. If he had another couple years under in his future,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that plays into the amount he's practicing now, but if he practiced exactly the same, he would be just like he could be the best player in the world at some points very soon.
Well, he's been so close so many times too.
Yeah, arguably he's been the best Protoss multiple times too within
The
history.
GSL and SSL you won were really close to each other, if I recall correctly. And yeah, I mean, last year at the beginning of the year, he was the best Protoss in the world, not stats.
Yeah.
And this year at the beginning of the year, he's the best Protoss in the world, not stats. I'm sure these things will switch back to stats eventually, but
Right. What is this shit?
So yeah, the Year 0 game. This is the last game in the series.
Whoa, what the fuck's going on
Marine,
here?
no bunker.
I wish Maru spoke English and we had like all access to him so I could just figure out what the fuck goes on when he decides to build bunkers and when not to, because I don't think anybody can really tell me besides him.
I think he's reading tiny little things. I mean,
That we aren't, obviously. But
well, yeah. We're
Wait,
not as
did he
smart as
scout?
Maru.
he scouted, right? Yeah, he did. Oh, is SCV still in there? Oh, it's Reaper. Never mind.
And he saw the Twilight. He already did see the Twilight.
Right. So Depth's already here. It's being a pain in the ass. Why did he cancel the orbital and build it again? Or was it an SCV? Maybe he canceled an SCV.
Yeah, I think so.
Reaper dies.
And then the Dark Shrine.
Nice.
I think it's an okay choice.
I like it.
It's a nice mix-up.
I don't know if I'd do it when my life is on the line, but at the same time, what can you do, really?
Well, I think it's okay to play very risky with your life on the line.
Yeah.
I feel like when it doesn't work, people get slandered for it. When it does work, they get praised for it, Like, you remember MVP versus Squirtle? That
Maybe.
final game, MVP, double proxy racks. No problem, GSL champ!
Squirtle. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah.
We should just have a StarCraft tournament where we invite all those OG people back and like have some disgusting amount of money that they couldn't refuse, like $200,000, and give them all like 6 months to prepare.
Parting would be really sad he wouldn't be allowed into that one.
Parting would not be allowed. There's no chance he'd be allowed on that one.
Yeah, he's too good already.
Yeah, you have to not touch the game for like 4 years to qualify. That'd be so cool, though. I'd love to see people like July and Nesty.
Oh,
and
yeah.
There's so many OG names that would be so interesting to see come back and actually prep, but
Especially Nesty.
Nesty, yeah. Nesty's got to be proper old. now.
Yeah, no, he's older than me.
I want to
He's
do
like
like
37 or 38.
I want to do a video where I go back and talk to a lot of these people and see where they are in life, because it's so intriguing to me as someone who's relatively young in esports and like what my future holds for me.
Better than what the rest of us
Yeah,
have.
there are lots of people that have unfortunate. Not you though. What are you on about?
No,
What?
I'm totally happy. Thank you.
You said the rest of us. Oof. Oh yeah, I remember this game. This is a super unfortunate game in general.
Well,
Like once the first scan goes off and the DT dies, it's just the jig is up.
Well, the thing is, you have to try with the second one because you saw him use this scan, so you don't know if there's one in the main. You have to take the risk, I think, because if he doesn't have it from the main base ready, then that's possibly game winning. Now look at this. This kills.
Yeah.
This is so painful.
I remember watching this game and just being like, everything's gone wrong.
Yeah. 7 kills, and he saves them both.
Hey, one thing I wanted to check just out of curiosity. Did he select both CCs to scan, or did he just select this one? Oh, look at that. Does he already know? He has the CC selected still? Wait, was this after? No. Okay, wait. Is this the first DT or the second?
This is the first.
Okay. So he already knows, clearly, because he has the command center still
Okay,
selected.
hold on. Let's see what he has selected.
Okay, well, he has the army, or the SC. Wait. Look at that.
Wait. What did he do for selection?
Oh, 1 sec. Let's go back one more
For
time.
the actual scan, I want to see what he
I
did.
don't want to click anything because it'll override it.
Okay, so don't touch
He's got
anything.
his command center selected right now. So like clearly he already knows because he's had his command center selected for way too long. Wait. Oh wait, fucking Christ.
Yeah. Hold on. Wait, was that showing his selection switches? No,
I
it's
can't
not.
tell.
It's
How
not
do I
showing
get
it.
rid of... Oh, it's escape. Oh my god, let's do this one more time, guys. Sorry.
We'll get it eventually.
Okay, now we're seeing a selection.
Sorry, this is the first time we've watched a
God,
replay.
that makes more sense.
Okay.
Three
So
three
three.
CCs. Okay, he knows.
Okay, he just selected all for the scan.
Okay, that would have been cool if he selected that CC specifically.
How does it choose scans, though? Does it do the closest one?
Maybe.
It might. I'm actually not sure of that.
I don't either. I have no. No, I don't think it knows because you're. It's totally different mechanic, right? How would it know what the closest CC is?
Why wouldn't it know? What? Why wouldn't
Okay,
it
wait,
know?
let's watch the next
Of course
scan.
it would know.
Let's watch the next scan. Is it the main CC or there's a... Ooh, maybe... Okay, well that one didn't have a scan. Never mind.
But it was that one.
Yes. But he didn't have a scan on the other one, so it's impossible.
Yeah, I guess we'll never know. But
Do we
I
know,
bet you
guys?
it is.
Does anybody know?
It might be the closest, or it might be highest energy. Someone's saying.
Highest energy would make sense.
Wait, no, it says closest one. Someone says closest one.
I don't
Someone
know
says
why-
highest energy. I don't know.
Chat doesn't have night. Why
No,
would
they
they
have
know?
no idea.
Why would they know?
They
what
didn't
we
even know
don't?
that these were spells until we just said it. Like, oh, that's cast by the CC?
I
Whoa!
bet there's people backseat gaming Maru right now too. Be like, why didn't you just have a battle cruiser right now?
Okay, so I want to stop and just talk about this for a second because he just lost. Okay, so first 2 DTs didn't work.
Yep.
That's already really painful. If you go T-Tech and then don't do anything at all, they just die instantly. It's a huge investment. It takes a long time for the Dark Shrine to finish.
Right.
The Dark Shrine costs a lot. The DTs cost a lot. That's a ton of investment for 0. So as soon as that happens, you're like,
Oh, you feel pretty bad.
yeah. But then your opponent, Widowmine, drops you and gets 7 probes.
Yeah.
So this is the worst situation you could ever find yourself in, going DTs,
Yeah.
basically. And the question is, how do you come back from this?
very
And
hard.
so when I was thinking, I was like, this is so tough to come back from. When he attacks you, you're just not going to have enough because you're going to be so soft.
Yep.
But what Classic did immediately was he threw down another Nexus and double Forge, which seems extremely counterintuitive until you think about it for a bit. Now, if Maru attacks very quickly, he's going to die pretty much no matter what.
Right.
Okay? If Maru plays a slightly more passive game to get himself further ahead, that's where you might actually catch up. You might actually catch up with a 3rd CC and double Forge.
Uh-huh.
So when I remember during the cast, like when he first did this, I was like, oh no, I don't even know what he's
Right.
doing. And then I realized, oh my god, this is all going to be done before the first attack hits.
I mean, what other choice do you even have, right? The only thing is, well, like, you don't really have anything. You can't attack him, that's for sure.
no,
The
yeah.
only thing is, I don't know about Blink.
Meh.
Blink's
There's
in there.
drops. I don't know. You may as well.
Honestly, if Classic would have just GG'd after the mines went off, I wouldn't have questioned him at all.
Yeah.
Because it feels like such a bad spot to be in,
Yeah.
and I'm actually amazed at the game. Because I had a point about this map, or this game.
Yeah, no. When the attack comes, it gets very interesting actually, because he
Yeah.
does basically get everything done.
The only thing the DTs really give you is some time, because you need to at least build a 1 Raven before you can push ever, and you need to have stuff at home to deal with DT run-bys or
Yeah.
DT drops.
Yeah,
Like, even when you look at his army, like, this is an army ready for DT drop, right?
Yeah.
Like, you see this?
totally.
Ravens here. Look at this. DT drop
See,
comes
here
in.
it comes. Oh, won't work. Okay.
I like Classic not just dropping and losing it. Like, the fact that this is a pressure is really good for him. Like, this is basically the only thing he has going for him. If not, Maru would be pushing right now, and you'd be dead. Like, what do you have?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Look at his unit count.
This is
He has
it.
an Adept and 7 Stalkers.
Yeah, so if Maru...
Attack move
if this
kills
didn't
him.
exist, Maru would be pushing and killing him.
But look, Maru this game, he's getting his 1-1. He's landing a 3rd CC. All these things put together are why Classic can almost come back with this double Forge 3rd CC.
Right. I mean, yeah, he's... Well, I mean, with 1-1, like, if you get a proper good timing with 1-1, it's just such a scary army, too, though. Was it 70 to 35? 70 to 35.
Okay, so let's look at this. The blink-in is about to happen.
And Maru, there's a 0% chance he turns around, because that would be like...
Well, he's decisive.
Yeah.
Like, we see other players not play decisively. That's, I don't know. I'm sure I've seen Maru not do it, but he generally is very, very
This
decisive.
is a really good call. Maru didn't even think about it, guys.
Yeah.
Didn't even think about it. He didn't even have his army
It
selected.
didn't hesitate.
Okay? This is the biggest thing that makes Maru a really good player, too. Because if you
Yeah.
hesitate for a second in either way, you're fucked.
This
you go
is,
forward,
yeah.
that's fine. But if you go back and then go forward again, then you're fucked. You know, like you've just wasted time for no reason.
This is one of the big things about Jaedong when he burst on the scene. Was exactly like this.
This is what I was talking about.
This is the worst thing ever.
So, yeah. I don't know if he wanted to get it before the force fields happened, but
that was the worst disables in the history of Earth. If he had disabled his own medevacs, it would have been better.
So this zealot goes off.
And then more force fields come down.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure he just waits for this orange Cheeto dust or whatever the fuck it is to leave, and then he goes in. This is a little bit sloppy. What is the army supply? 68
It's hard to do much more than this.
41 to 80.
Yeah, but he actually comes pretty darn close to holding this.
Yeah, he does. Look at this. This is basically the best. Holy shit. You could not have had a better fight.
Yeah.
If you planned this perfectly. This was the absolute perfect fight. And this all came down to Maru just fucking up with his energy. Like, imagine when this fight comes in, he then uses this upgrade. All these zealots are dead. And you can't
disables
buy
the two
more
immortals
time.
at that point.
Yeah, he could disable 2 immortals and do the thing, and it would be totally fine. But right now he has no energy. He actually basically holds this. I think he does hold this. He just doesn't have anything in the main to deal with some drop.
There's just more units coming in, and it's tough.
Yeah, it's 27 supply to 55. But yeah, Maru almost finds a way to lose the game. Like, that was it was too trigger happy with the Raven.
Well, I think he realized truly how far ahead he was.
Yeah.
He was like, all right, let's do this.
Possibly. He possibly could just like, fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah.
Disable whatever. Disable some sentries. He did that one other time.
He's looking for a play of the week.
He uses the closest CC for sure. Just tested it to make sure.
Thank you,
Thanks.
guy in the chat. So it is close to CC. So.
According to him. We'll trust you. We'll trust you.
According to him. I always believe what guys in the chat tell me.
Me too. That's why I'm Kodas. At this point, the game is over. Really heartbreaking way to go out, but I think Classic had the right mind going in, and his plan was good.
Yeah,
He had a good plan. It just feels like everything kind of fell apart. Like if you
it was not his day for sure.
Structurally, looking at it, cause this is basically done. I don't know if we have to watch the rest. Looking at it structurally from the perspective of Classic, he had the Deer build, right? He had the 2 proxy gates. One of them did really well.
He had 3 proxy gate games. One was that Deer game.
Yeah, okay. Well, 3 proxy gates. One of them was the Deer game. So he had the Deer strategy on that map. Pretty much perfect build. It should have killed Maru if he actually played it like Deer did. He had the Proxy Tempest build on game number 4. Hey, they're perfect. Give me that.
Yes.
Proxy Tempest on the fourth game. Phoenix Colossus did really well this game. This was the game where the proxy gate actually did well, right?
No. The one that did well was game 2 that he won.
Phoenix Colossus game, he still could have won. He just needed vision.
Could have won that.
Vision on the army.
It was a beautiful scan for Maru.
Yeah. So like it feels like almost everything could have worked out, and almost everything went wrong.
This is very interesting to me too, right? Because Maru had to play reactively basically the entire time. Proxy gate, proxy gate. Then it was Phoenix Colossus, but that's a game in which they switched roles, right? He had the Phoenixes going around. He saw what was happening. It was a 2-base play. He got ready for it by killing the rocks, but Maru scanned and went in a different route and just caught him off guard and killed him. But that could have been Classic's win on game 3. Game 4, Tempest play. That was the Tempest that just insta-won.
Yep.
Okay, so that's like, wow. Okay, he forced Maru to play his game there again. Then we did the proxy gate into the big macro game.
Which we've gone over. He should have won in multiple situations. Yeah. He could have won it.
And he dictated that entire game, basically. But then, obviously Maru was harassing when he didn't have anything there. And then it's a DT game.
Basically, strategically, I think he had the perfect mindset going in. It's just that it felt like he didn't deviate too much from his plans. And when he was thrown off, it felt like the games were over. You know what I mean? Almost every time when Maru started having any leeway, he just lost.
Yeah.
Like immediately after Classic lost. Really interesting. I think he went in with the perfect plan. You know?
Wow.
Like you look at this, he clearly prepped really hard for this, and he had his plan. It just didn't go the same way. And when you look at it and you look at all these replays like we have, really I don't think anybody's done it until now. It's like going really into it. It just feels so unfortunate.
Classic played amazingly.
Yeah.
It's wow. I have so much, and I had so much respect for him before, but. This was a great series, and Classic really put everything he had into this, and this so could have gone the other way. But that shows the type of class of a player Maru is.
Yeah, Maru is just a class.
He has
above.
no equal.
He really
He
doesn't.
has no equal. The fact that Classic planned out the best stuff that basically you could as a Protoss user here, and
Maru is so
lost
special.
4-2.
He's so special. Like, there's just no player like him, honestly.
Yeah. Not for any race. He's just
Like,
one of a kind.
Thinking about it, this would be the way Classic wins is the way he should have won. You know what I mean? Like, this is him. I'm gonna beat Maru. I'm gonna dictate the game. He's not gonna get to do his shit against me. I'm gonna do the shit against him. Maru doesn't give a fuck. He still kills you. Like, yeah, Classic could have done a few things differently, but Classic was playing damn near perfect almost all of these games, to be honest. Like, we can't be like, well, you should have just been, above Maru. You should have been superior to him. Like, there were mistakes, clearly, but even when some of these mistakes are accounted for, he still doesn't win all these games. So it's an incredible series.
Yeah.
I think he had potential to win it, and he did 4-2, which is way better than a lot of the other Protosses we've seen going up against Maru. Yeah, I'm really, really happy with this finals. It was really sick.
It really was, and it's so much better now. I feel like having gotten to comb over the replays with you and just kind of really talk about it and go in depth and rewind and check out exactly what was seen. It's hard to catch some of those things sometimes, but this was
It's cool to see him
a nice one.
Classic kind of took plays from other people that did a lot of things and kind of put it into his own. Like, I didn't think about it at all until watching this back. I'm like, this is exactly what the fuck Deer did. It's just worse. Like, he's trying to emulate it. He was getting Blink DT at the same time. He was opening Colossus Templar with no Colossus. He just went Templar into Tempest. The way he was positioned was so aggressive, just like Deer, where he was going for the jugular. We haven't really seen PVT like that. That was just so in there until I saw Deer, and I'm like, wait a minute. Clearly, Classic is trying to emulate Deer here.
Yeah.
And then
That's a very cool catch. I definitely want to go over that again.
yeah, it was a really cool series.
Well,
Hopefully he can, if he had another, grand finals against Maru, we might be able to see him take it.
well,
but scary.
that could happen
It
again
could
this
happen.
season. Like, seriously.
I would love to see it.
Yeah,
I
he
think
seems
he's
like
one of the
someone that
best.
is capable.
He's one of the best to put up the fight that Maru, has to worry about. Like, any Zerg player you put in here, Maru doesn't care. Any other Protoss, it's probably, maybe stats, maybe, but, like, it's just, even that's a little predictable. It's just, like, Classic is just the perfect mixture of everybody as well to fight against Maru. These are, like, the two titans of the matchup, I feel.
Yeah.
It's really cool, though. I think we can end it.
I think that's it. Guys, thank
Yeah.
you for watching In Depth with us. Yeah. We're on every week at the same time.
Does your dog like Jake? He loves me.
Too much.
He
He
loves
can't be in
me.
the same room as him while we're doing this, so he's locked up out there. Guys, thank you for watching.
Yeah, thank you for watching.
Yeah, the VODs, of course, go up on YouTube, and yeah,
Watch GSL.
GSL
It's coming
tonight.
up, and also we're gonna have a Patreon up for next week probably.
That's right.
So you can support us like that, or you can donate. We split donations and stuff, put it towards the show. We love you guys. You guys are awesome. Make sure you check this up on YouTube.
Yes.
And we'll
I think
see
that's
you
about
later.
it. We're still trying to improve the show, so give us feedback on Discord. On the Discord channel, you can kind of see where that is.
Yeah, we're gonna do more.
We read that, and
stuff
we
with
actually we have a lot of stuff in the pipeline for the show that we're very excited about.
Yes.
That we're not going to tell you about yet until they just
Secret.
come out of the blue, and you're going to be like, "Whoa, they did this! It's so great!" Okay, guys, thank you for watching. See you next time.